feel like or felt like every move they made had something. Time for me to open a new stage for my life and career. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I will always love you and what we have shared, a lifetime full of fun memories. So Tom Brady is out there on the open market, and the question is, he'll sign with Tampa, the Chargers, or other? Might as well start with that, with our poll question there. And McLovin will do the honors. Do we have any other Tom Brady related? So this is 20 minutes in here, so we just got the news at 8:45. Yeah, McLovin.
Do you think he's helping out his old friend Bill O'Brien by taking him out of the top story in the news here?
Do you think that Bill O'Brien goes, hey, Tom, can you help me after the stupid trade that I just had? Yeah, I'll do that for you, Coach. I'll say I'm leaving the Patriots. Yeah, maybe that'll do it. We'll talk about that trade coming up in a moment. There were a couple of moves that were made. Stephon Diggs didn't feel appreciated in Minnesota. Now, this has been brewing for a while. You're a run-oriented team. You feel like Kirk D. Cousins plays favorites with Adam Thielen, and now you want out. Okay. Well, you just went from a colder place, Minnesota, to Buffalo with a quarterback who's less accurate. And what could possibly go wrong with a situation like this? I like Diggs. He's a good receiver. He's a great deep threat. But I got a quarterback that's not that accurate. And Kirk Cousins is accurate, and you're at least playing indoors half of your games. But DeAndre Hopkins going to Arizona, I kept thinking, wait, that's not the David Johnson who can't play football very well anymore, is it, that they got in return here? And Bill O'Brien, the GM, just made it harder for Bill O'Brien, the coach, because you start to look at that and you go, DeAndre Hopkins is 27. He's been first-team All-Pro the last 3 years. That doesn't happen. And a second-round draft pick. Like, wait a minute here. What am I missing? You didn't get a first-round pick for Jadeveon Clowney. Laramie Tunsil is going to... God. You start to look at these moves and you go, you're making it tougher. Somebody likened the AFC South to a mid-major. Like it's like the MAC, in football. It's not a great conference, but it's a good conference. It's a competitive conference. But, man, what are you doing here? Like, you can win this division for the next 5 years if you wanted to with a couple of smart moves. But trying to figure that out with Bill O'Brien and what he just did with DeAndre Hopkins, and I get it. DeAndre Hopkins was, as a scout told me last night, PIA, pain in the ass. That's and he, Bill O'Brien has a short fuse. And if he doesn't like you, then he's not going to like you. And apparently they were looking for somebody to take DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins, I was told last night, was going to be traded. Didn't know where he was going to be traded, and it turns out he ends up with Arizona. And we'll talk to Sean Salisbury, does a radio show in Houston. He unloaded on Bill O'Brien with this deal. What other poll questions, McLovin?
We were debating what was the worst move yesterday. DeAndre Hopkins trade was the leader. One person on Twitter said the Byron Jones getting so much money. Another said the Niners giving away DeForest Buckner or the Niners giving away him, or the other team taking him and paying him so much. Those are the three that we've been tweeted about. Is there a move that sticks out as really bad to you?
Well, I think the Hopkins does. I don't know if the Colts go, boy, we need Buckner because we got to stop Derrick Henry. The Ravens started to build up their interior line a little bit. It feels like there's hey, we got to stop Derrick Henry at some point during the season. But I don't know if that was, the reason why they did that. Buckner's a really good player. It just felt like the Colts needed something else. And you're giving away a first-round draft pick, and you could certainly use another wide receiver there. And you don't even know what your quarterback situation is. So I was surprised at that San Francisco gave up on him, but also the Colts, that's what they felt, and they're paying top dollar for him. And Jones with the Dolphins, he already had the two highest paid corners in the game right now. they're loading up on defense, and Kyle Van Noy as well. Yeah, Paul.
I just got an email from a buddy of mine who is hardcore Patriots fans, lives and dies with the Patriots. He woke up this morning and he checks his social media, and he got up just a few minutes ago, and he sees Tom Brady's post. And Tom Brady, the headline of his first post is, "Forever a Patriot." So my buddy doesn't have his glasses on. He's like, "Oh, this is fantastic. Forever a Patriot." He's staying. He signed it. And he starts reading. He's like, "What? What? But you see the headline, "Forever a Patriot," you think, he's staying. This guy has his head in the oven right now.
I always read from the bottom up. If somebody sends in fan mail, if there's a tweet, like I always go to the bottom because that'll tell me everything I need to know. I usually read the last line. And if you read that last line, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I will always love you and what we have shared, a lifetime full of fun memories. So that's Tom Brady's social media, and that was at 8:45 Eastern. So that changed things a little bit here. Now what are the Chargers doing if they don't get Tom Brady? What's Tampa do if they don't get Tom Brady? Is there a mystery team out there? I was told last week there were 3 teams at the most involved with Tom Brady. One was New England, and we knew Tampa, and I assumed it was the Chargers, but I was told that there could be a mystery team in there. Jeff Darlington has talked about that, the ESPN reporter, that there was a mystery team in there. Okay. We're going to find out. Ollie income free. Yes, Eden.
On St. Patrick's Day? He did that to Boston on St. Patrick's Day? Tommy. Tommy, what are you doing?
The bars are closed.
On St. Patrick's Day in the middle of a pandemic, you do this?
Oh, they're going to be drinking. That's for sure. If they weren't allowed to go out drinking, they're going to drink. McLovin, yes.
I have a hot poll question. We might get the hot side, and it's off something you said pre-show. If you're the Bucks, who do you want, Teddy or Tommy?
If you think you can win right now, then I understand Brady. I don't understand the fascination of bringing him in. The Chargers need him for relevancy. The Chargers always feel like they're on the verge of being great, but they somehow, mess it up. Tampa Bay, I think, is probably 2 years away. So I would probably look at Teddy Bridgewater in a situation like that. But that's because I think if you find somebody who gives you stability, I don't know how long Brady is going to be able to play for and play at a reasonable level there. But you got a lot of weapons there, and that defense is good in Tampa Bay, and I've already christened them a playoff team. So if he goes there or Bridgewater goes there, I think they're a playoff team. Chargers, what's plan B here? Tyrod Taylor? And then you draft somebody, that would be the route I would take, unless I go, boy, we're desperate to have people come watch us play in the new stadium. Then you bring in Tom Brady. But that might set you back a little bit here. Do you use that top draft pick on somebody who can help you now if you bring in Brady? Like Brady's going to get there and go, what are we going to do with that top 10 pick? We're going to use it on a quarterback because he's probably going, well, why don't we use it on an offensive lineman? Why don't we use it on a wide receiver? Whatever it might be, Brady would probably want to make sure that they understood that. Hey, I'm going to go there. What are you doing with that 6th overall pick? Because they say, hey, we're going to take Justin Herbert. Can you teach him how to play the position? He might not be too keen on that. What else do you have? McLovin?
Okay, if you're the Bears, I'll give you these choices. Mitchell Trubisky, Teddy Bridgewater, Andy Dalton.
For who?
Well, they could make a move. They could trade for Dalton closer to the draft. They could try and sign Bridgewater, which seemed to be happening yesterday, or they could stick with Trubisky and just maybe sign a backup or maybe not. Now that Mariota's off the market.
Yeah, Mariota ended up going to the Raiders, which I would have taken a chance on Mariota. I still think there's an upside there. I just think he played kind of skittish, not scared, but he played conservative, and he won a Heisman by not playing that way. If I'm New England, I don't think Jarrett Stidham is the answer for a team that is built to be winning now. So is Cam Newton going to be available? Jameis Winston, I was told last night, could you imagine Jameis Winston with Bill Belichick? And I said, no. They said, well, if you had some good coaching. I said, he had Bruce Arians. How is it Bruce Arians, the quarterback whisperer, and now all of a sudden he'll change when he goes to New England there? Teddy Bridgewater is a possibility. I don't know. I think New England, we wondered about plan B, but when Tom Curran joined us, he covered the Patriots, and he said, plan B is, if they don't get Tommy, is Jarrett Stidham. And I guess they've seen enough where they go, okay, he's going to be our guy if we lose him. But, that's as fascinating as where Brady's going. That side of this with what Belichick is going to do. All right, so what poll question are we going to go with?
Okay, so I already put up where will Tom Brady end up? The Chargers, the Bucks, or other?
Okay, yeah, Paul.
Here's a little tidbit for you. In case Tom Brady does join the Chargers host the Patriots this year, 2020.
Nice. Does Tampa?
They do not.
They do not connect? Okay. All right, so that's a poll question. We'll check in with Sean Salisbury. I was going to have Sean on to talk about DeAndre Hopkins and that move, but now that Brady has decided he's not going back to New England, what place makes the most sense? And that's the poll question. Where do you think he's going to go? Bucks, Chargers, or other? Now that we know that other is not the New England Patriots. We got play of the day, stat of the day. We got Meat Friday songs that we'll bring to you as well. Happy St. Paddy's Day, by the way. We'll take a break. Coming up on 16 after the hour. This is the Dan Patrick Show. That Epson EcoTank printer is everything you need and then some. If you print a lot, I've got the perfect printing solution. You can kiss expensive cartridges goodbye. The Epson EcoTank comes with a ridiculous amount of ink, enough to print thousands and thousands of pages. The printer is supersized, easy-to-fill tanks, which means that you'll never hassle with buying or changing expensive ink cartridges again. Now you can print all your business documents, reports, tax forms, everything you need on your task list, and do it in color. The Epson EcoTank is changing the way people print. If you're thinking about buying the perfect printer, do what we did. We added the Epson EcoTank to the man cave. Transform the way your home or office prints and do away with out-of-ink frustration. Check out Epson EcoTank printers at Sam's Club, Walmart, and at Epson.com/EcoTankDan. It's spelled EPSON. Epson.com/EcoTankDan. EcoTank printers. Just fill and chill. Dan Patrick Show brought to you by True Car. Go to True Car to get an upfront price from a dealer online. Search from over 1 million pre-owned vehicles with a new True Car. Buy smarter, drive happier. Our good friend Ross Tucker just tweeted, Tom Brady news is why the Bears couldn't add a quarterback yesterday despite trying to leverage the situation. Teddy Bridgewater and Andy Dalton both want to be the next starting quarterback of the Patriots. Interesting. Just had a source say, what if the Patriots told Tom that they were moving on from him? Because Tom says he doesn't know where he's going. And my source said, has anybody looked at the side of this that the Patriots said to Tom, we're moving in a different direction? So, look, we're going to eventually get the backstory to this, but that's what a source who is plugged in with this kind of information said. Maybe Brady found out where, he's not going to be. And maybe that's why he says, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm not going to be going back to New England. Yeah, Paul.
That would make sense if you see the reports that are credible. Tom Curran last week said they had one phone call and it didn't go well, Brady and Belichick. And Jeff Darling reported that there was no negotiations going on over the past 3 weeks.
Yeah. There could be, that could be the story. That's why Brady says, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what he would be waiting for right now. But I did say that, Andy Dalton would be a possibility for the Patriots a couple of weeks ago, and maybe Teddy Bridgewater would be that kind of quarterback as well. Yeah, Paulie.
You know who else would make a lot of sense for the Patriots?
Reaching out to Andrew Luck.
Kick the tires.
But don't the Colts still own him? Don't they own his rights in perpetuity? Does that make sense, McLovin, that the Colts still own Andrew Luck's rights?
Absolutely. And, the Colts Patriots probably wouldn't trade because of the history, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, that could be true. Well, there's no way the Colts would go, hey, we want to help you out. We're going to give you Andrew Luck, or the rights to Andrew Luck. All right, 877-3DP Show, email address dp@danpatrick.com, Twitter handle at DP Show. I'm curious if we did a poll question. We'll wait for the second hour with the Patriots 2020 quarterback. Will be Teddy Bridgewater, Andy Dalton, Jarrett Stidham, or other. But that'll be second hour here, getting ahead of myself here. But Tom Brady announced at 8:45 Eastern on all the social media platforms that he's not coming back to New England. Would you think that Belichick and Robert Kraft said he was not going to be involved in this? That was the one that made me a little bit nervous with my prediction that he was going to go back there. But the fact that Belichick treats this as a business decision, and I think they were curious what the open market would bring for Tom Brady. If he was shopping himself out there, and maybe that kind of reinforced what the Patriots thought. Maybe they wanted to move on with Tom Brady. Sean Salisbury, Sports Talk 790 in Houston, their morning drive host, former NFL quarterback. I was going to have you on to talk about the DeAndre Hopkins deal, but let me ask you about Tom Brady. What do you think happened here?
You know what, Dan? And we don't have any sports to talk about, do we? Good gracious. You know what, Dan? I think that it got down to, if you're Brady, you're waiting to walk into Bill's office and have him make you an offer, meaning what kind of players are you going to supply me? What are our chances to continue the Super Bowl type of run? And what are you going to pay me? And I heard you. He's one of the very few, unlike the guy here, Bill O'Brien, who makes decisions not on emotions, but what he thinks. And every time, whether it's Lawyer, Malloy, and even Brady's not immune to it, Malloy, Ty Law, Richard Seymour, all those guys, when he thinks that, okay, your time's about up no matter who you are. I think Tom wanted an offer that he couldn't refuse, and I think Bill, at this point in time, without emotion being involved, wanted to move on and made him an offer he could refuse, and that's why Brady today made the announcement. I think he was waiting for them to grasp him and hug him, and I don't think so. And I think Bill, when he goes up with his press conference, is going to do what he does. This is it is. Tom did good. We'll move on, and you won't see 1 ounce of emotion in it. Honest to God, 19 years later, it's shocking. Yeah. It's going to be weird, but if it happens to Rice and Joe Montana, it can happen to Tom Brady.
Where do you think he'll end up?
Dan, for me, and I know the best situation, really, if you're the Colts, let me just throw this out there. And I know Frank Reich and Phillip Rivers and they're how they've been together. But if you're the Colts and you love Phillip Rivers, why wouldn't you love Tom Brady? You got wide receivers, you got weapons, You got an offensive line where Tom doesn't have to. His offensive line will let him sit his feet in the pocket and deliver. Mechanically, the best guy we've ever had at quarterback. They can run the ball efficiently. Good play caller, good front office, got money, went and got themselves some help up front, so they're stout on the defensive line. Still got some draft picks and collateral. They got money to pay Tom Brady. If you love Phillip Rivers and you want a veteran, why wouldn't you at least entertain the offer or the opportunity of Tom Brady? He's better than Phillip Rivers. And then, well, there's Bruce Arians, who'd be fun to work with, but they're not Super Bowl ready, although he'd have weapons. The Chargers, you still got to deal with Mahomes. The Raiders, John Gruden falls. Heck, John Gruden loved me one second and wants Brady the next. He falls in and out of love with quarterbacks, so maybe Brady. And Dan, I am still not, for the hell of it, I'm still not ruling out that the San Francisco 49ers trade's doing it, weapons with that trade, getting another first-round draft pick. I got to believe they're at least going to talk to Tom, even though it's probably crazy. But the best situation for him as it stands, there's no questions the Indianapolis Colts. The question is, how interested are they in him?
Yeah, I wondered about that you play half your game indoors. You got a good offensive line. You like the coach. He's a former quarterback, and you've got some weapons there. Your defense is pretty good. I get that, and you're right. If you're gonna take a flyer on Phillip Rivers, then why not at least do a drive-by on Tom Brady? The Chargers part of this, I understand with the weapons there, and maybe that's the lifestyle part of this that he's mentioned in his tweet. Tampa Bay, I think Tampa Bay is sneaky good, but I just don't know because we don't know what the Falcons are. Carolina's in a rebuild. You're still going to have to deal with the Saints there, but Tampa could be a playoff team with the right quarterback there, and you got a lot of weapons there. But you start to troubleshoot this for Brady, and it feels like the Chargers make the most sense for everything that he's talking about, reading between the lines. And that
right, and and the production company, all those things to move west closer to where he grew up, even though it was Northern California. And Dan, you make a good mention about Tampa with those weapons. And Bruce Arians is great, not just good, great with quarterbacks. And part of Tom's criteria is to work with a coach, and I don't know if this was a dig, that he could actually work with at this point in time. And Bruce would love it. Supposedly they and the Chargers have already made $30 million kind of offers to Tom Brady. But it would seem logical to go west. And the Chargers, and the one thing that does Tom think that he can get through Kansas City and Mahomes, they do have weapons. Hunter Henry, if he's healthy. They got some players, Keenan Allen. The question is, will they shore that offensive line up so he can set his feet? So all of them have a strength, but there's also weaknesses. But what's Brady always done, Dan? He's always taken the weakness and made it better. And the question is, in Tampa or Los Angeles with the Chargers, can he? He'll have options. I think they're more limited than he thought, but Tom Brady's going to make an impact. I cannot believe we're sitting here talking about today that Tom Brady is going to be playing somewhere else. It's absolutely it's baffling to me. But you know what? Now New England's got to go on the hunt. Wouldn't it be funny if Jimmy Garoppolo ended up back there for a second-round pick?
Yeah, I just don't see that happening. And
it's
maybe
not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. I thought Andy Dalton all along was sort of a safeguard. And if you got Teddy Bridgewater, great. If I just don't know enough about Jarrett Stidham other than what I saw when he was in college. But then most guys who are in the NFL look pretty good in college. We're talking to Sean Salisbury, Sports Talk 790, Houston Morning Drive host, and, of course, former NFL quarterback. The DeAndre Hopkins deal to Arizona. How's this playing locally?
Horrible, Dan. It is. I've tried since Bill's been here. I know how hard it is for those guys to coach, and it's difficult. I've tried to almost, I don't want to say champion his cause, but defend him a little bit. Dan, I cannot. You could give me $1 million today. I can't defend this trade. When I heard about this yesterday, my head, first of all, exploded. Fortunately, I got it back before I came on with you. But they made what you're doing is, how do you stand up in front of your team and say we got better? You've got a superstar quarterback who's a sacred cow. You made him worse. You didn't improve any weakness. David Johnson is a guy, and you traded that guy who is the best football player consistently on the Texans, and that's including Watson right now, is DeAndre Hopkins, Hall of Famer. You don't have a number one receiver. You have two of those guys that are two of the three receivers in Stills and Will Fuller that spend a lot of time watching from the sidelines. Potential for Will Fuller, yes, but doesn't play a full season. And you got rid of your best football player, and you got a fourth, a second, and you got an aging running back. It's not David Johnson's fault, but he's a guy. Dan, think about this. If you woke up this morning and I told you Michael Thomas, and the Saints traded Michael Thomas and a fourth-round pick to the Texans for Duke Johnson and a second-round pick, and they threw in a fourth-rounder. What would you do? You think you'd call in the National Guard, right? Those are the two best receivers in the league. That's what this is. Yeah. You lost respect to players. You cut off you basically cut the knees off of a franchise, and he's already been one of those guys that people have not liked here. I think Bill O'Brien, the respect factor, he's not going to be able to stand in front of that team and tell them they got better. He can't handle a really, really good player that's opposition that maybe doesn't get along with. You mentioned emotion. Bill Belichick doesn't act on emotion. Bill O'Brien does, yet he doesn't want his players to. Bill O'Brien lost a lot of respect, I think, in that locker room yesterday. This is as bad a trade as this city's ever seen football-wise.
Yeah, I saw this on Bleacher Report. Mike Tanier writes the Texans have to address Bill O'Brien's situation. Bill O'Brien is a staggeringly terrible general manager. He's also an awful head coach, as illustrated by many of his suspect decisions in the Texans blowing a 24-point lead to lose to the Chiefs in the AFC divisional round. Despite his shortcomings as a game planner, play caller, O'Brien has a 52-44 head coaching record and has led the Texans to the playoffs 4 times in 6 years. But I don't know what the rationale is. Will he hold a press conference and talk about this?
No, it'll be a while, Dan. He'll let it clear, and if he does, it'll be. I said I'm not going to discuss a guy's personal or my relationship with DeAndre Hopkins or what. He'll go through that. Here's the thing, Dan. Normally, when you run these things you run them by an owner. With Cal McNair, who's to blame on this also. Bill's got so much power in this organization. He walked up those steps, in my opinion, and what's done, and said, here's what we're doing, not do you approve of this trade. See, what Bill O'Brien, the coach, should have done is punch the general manager right in the face. The problem is he'd have to do it in the mirror because it's the same guy. And so imagine this, Dan, if Bill was a coach somewhere else where he didn't have power, and he was told that this trade was going down, wouldn't he walk into the general manager and owner's office and say, what are you doing? So, yes, while he's won games, see, Dan, when you got a quarterback like Watson, it's not just to get to the playoffs. It's to get deep and to be able to play in February. He's lost a lot of respect, and he's been questioned as a play caller and a coach. He's got too much power, and unfortunately, power, ego, and narcissistic attitudes ruin relationships, ruin businesses, and ruin football teams. He is the most despised man in this town right now.
Let me ask you about the Cowboys situation with Dak Prescott. Amari Cooper got paid, Zeke Elliott got paid. There are a lot of guys who got paid, and Dak Prescott is sitting there going, wait a minute here. I know he's getting fair market value. In fact, I think what he's being offered is fair to his talent level, that he's not Russell Wilson. He's not the Super Bowl winning quarterback, but he's going to make more than Jared Goff is or Carson Wentz. That seems to be fair market value. So where do you stand on the Cowboys with Dak Prescott?
You know, Dan, and I've said it on your show, I think, when I said I felt last year, I felt he was underappreciated or underrated. And I think that he needed to put up numbers to prove to people he wasn't just a guy who threw it 24 times and had to have a great running game for him to succeed statistically. Well, he did. Now the next level is him for him to win and to carry teams when, okay, you know, when the running back's out or the wide receiver's a little banged up or the defense. I'm with you. The offer they made seems, at least on the surface, appears to me, seems to be pretty good. But you know what, Dan? He's at a position that's obviously premium. He isn't going anywhere. You put the franchise tag on him, and think what the salary cap with the CBA is going to happen. It's going to go up. He's going to make $35 million, Dan. Yeah. He just is. Now, are people going to say he's overpaid? Probably. But that's what we do. Listen, did you look at the Titans and what they paid Tannehill? The $20 million is not the norm anymore. 28 to 30 million is. So I'm with you on the value, but he's looking at it saying, what's your option, dude? What is your option, Jerry? He will eventually get paid, and it'll be a lot. And for a minute, he'll be the highest paid quarterback in NFL history until the Mahomes or until Watson comes around. But I agree with you. But you know what, Dan? You're worth what you can negotiate, and the Cowboys are not going to let him go. He will be the starting quarterback for the Cowboys, and he will get paid, whether it's this year or when the franchise tag is done. He's going to be making close to $35 million or more over the course of a contract, and a lot of it's going to be guaranteed.
Great to talk to you, bud. Thanks for joining us, Sean.
Always great to be on with you, brother. Thank you. Enjoy.
That's Sean Salisbury, Morning Drive host on Sports Talk 790, former NFL quarterback. Robert Kraft said to Mike Reese of ESPN, quote, Tommy initiated contact last night and came over. We had a positive, respectful discussion. It's not the way I want it to end, but I want him to do what is best in what is in his best personal interest. After 20 years with us, he has earned that right. I love him like a son. Yes, he.
So it was Kraft that broke it to Tommy? Is that what that means?
I don't know if Tommy came over to be respectful to Robert Kraft to say that he was leaving. I'm just going by what I'm told this morning by a source. Don't be surprised if the Patriots said to Tom, we're moving on. That's what I'm being told this morning. But I think he could have. I think either way, he was going over to talk to Robert Kraft and just, they were going to be able to talk to each other face to face. You'll notice Belichick probably not involved in this conversation. Yes, he.
But it says here, according to this, that Kraft said, I want him to do what's best for his personal interest.
Yeah.
So does that mean that Tom walked away or they kicked him to the curb? Both.
Well, he might have said, hey, this is what I need. Or, that this is the amount of money I don't know what Robert Kraft would be. What would be the deterrent where he goes, Tom, I want to make this work. How can I make this work? You can't change Bill Belichick's personality. No matter how powerful you are, you're not changing his personality. And Tom, I think, wanted to be loved, respected. And I guess after a while, he just says, look, I'm going to get out of this. I want to go and have fun the last couple of years I can play football. I'm going to do something where it's a new challenge for me. Hey, maybe I get more credit. Hey, maybe I get more blame here. Maybe I go to Los Angeles. Lifestyle change. I don't know. He probably just got to the point where he said, you know what? That's enough. Let me go where I want to be needed, wanted, respected. Yeah, Paul.
And you had to think that the Patriots knew last night who the next quarterback is, whether it's Stidham or Stidham and somebody else, that's going to be fascinating to find out is who do they have a deal in place with?
Well, they can't go into the regular season with Jared Stidham, I think, is their only quarterback there. I don't know if they have another quarterback on the roster, but, I mean, you really need to have a veteran in there. If you can get Teddy Bridgewater in there, that's pretty good. You've done pretty well. Even Andy Dalton will be, a nice placeholder there. I haven't seen enough from Stidham that I would go, okay, I'm going to turn the team over to him. Not that Belichick would turn the team over to him, but you're going to put him in there as your starting quarterback there. So fascinating, and I think at some point, this information will start to leak out that maybe Tom went in and asked for $35 million, or maybe he wanted a 3-year deal. Maybe he wanted the stadium to be named after him. Who knows? But if you throw it out there and they decided, hey, you know what? You need to do what's best for you, Tom, because we can't accommodate you. Ted in Tampa joins us. Ted, how you feeling today?
Hey, I'm great. 4 years Division I football, 30 years in Army Special Operations. Hey, Dan, don't want to bust your bubble, but Tom's not going to come to Tampa. And the reason isn't because of the targets, and the reason is not because of the defense. It's tackle to tackle. If you look at the efficiency ratings on NFL Central, the Bucs had the offensive line tackle to tackle have finished in the bottom 6 in the entire league the last 6 years in a row. That's the entire Jameis Winston era. So, and the left tackle, please pull up some Bucs tapes and have the Danettes watch them. The left tackle is the worst in the league.
All right. Thank you, Ted. Not going to be pulling up the Tampa Bay Buccaneers efficiency charts here. Stand down, Ted. But look at the Chargers. Their offensive line is, perennially bad with now they did make a trade a couple of weeks ago, and I wondered about that, but were they trying to reinforce that line? Because I think statistically the Chargers offensive line with quarterback pressures and sacks has not been very good over a long period of time. But you do have weapons there as well. Whatever scenario you're going into, it's not a perfect scenario. Whether it's the Chargers or Tampa Bay, it's not a perfect scenario. But he's got to look at it and say, which one do I think I can thrive in? Can I make it better? Which one will I feel more at home here? I don't know how he doesn't know where he's going. That to me is the surprising part of this. Hey, I don't know where I'm going. I just know I know I'm not going back there. When did you get to that point? Where was the realization? How did this crystallize where you go, you know what, I'm not going back there? I get the feeling with those who know Brady, he wasn't going back there. Tom Curran said, I'll bet you anything you want to bet a couple of weeks ago. Tom is not going back there. Jeff Darlington said he's not. Now, this is from Brady's side of the equation here. Jeff Darlington bet Paulie that for charity, that Brady was not going back. So Brady had already made up his mind, I'm not going back. Maybe that's why there were really no negotiations here. Maybe out of respect, Robert Kraft meets with Tom, but it feels like Brady had already made up his mind. If you made up your mind that you're not going back, I feel like you've made up your mind where you're going to. Because you don't want to go, I'm not going back to the Patriots, and then all of a sudden, the Chargers say, we're all in on Justin Herbert. Tampa Bay says, we're going to get Teddy Bridgewater. And then what's Tom Brady going to do? Tom Brady knows where he's going. Has to. How would the guy who is so prepared go, hey, I don't know where I'm going. I'm just not going back to New England. I don't believe that for a second. That position is all about preparation. And he was as good as anybody who's ever done it. And now you get to this, and you don't know? He knows where he's going. Take a break. Play of the day. More phone calls coming up. And we'll check in with the Buccaneers coming up in a little bit as well. Back after this.
The play of the day.
Left side, got it! Ready to play it and play it.
This is the play of the day.
Check this out.
Good luck, Magnus. Represent Los Angeles.
That's courtesy of Simple's Living Alaska. And that's your Iditarod. That's our play of the day.
You wanted live sports.
Yeah, I got live sports. The Iditarod is... Do you have an update for me on the Iditarod?
Waiting for you to ask, Dan. Thomas Warner is in the lead. Just a couple days left. Brent, the Sassmaster Sass, in second. Mitch Sheevy, the legend, in third place.
My guy, Lev Schwartz.
Schwartzy? Oh, he's in 24th place, but that's not that bad.
He's a slow starter. Classic slow starter.
Yeah, he schwarted the bed so far.
Schwartzy.
Play of the day brought to you by Tecovas. Tecovas boots are handmade with full-grain leathers, world-class boot makers. Tecovas cuts out the middleman, sells directly to you at amazing prices. Shipping, returns, exchanges are free and easy. Visit tecovas.com/DP. Tecovas Western Goods for new frontiers. All right, just got this from a source. When I said, could the Patriots have told Tom that they were moving on from him, my source says, very probable. I talked to my friend there yesterday, and it was business as usual, and in the end, they probably made a business decision. We don't know the gory details yet, but the fact that some reporters, Mike Reese of ESPN, Tom Curran of NBC Boston, spoke to Robert Kraft either last night or today, and he said that Tom initiated the contact to come over and talk, and then they decided what was best for Tom, in best interest of Tom. Well, I don't know who decided what was in the best interest for Tom, because it feels like if you're listening to the people on Brady's side of this, he had made up his mind a while ago that he was not coming back. But did he make up his mind a while ago because the Patriots had made up their mind a while ago as well? And you're not going to get Belichick's side of this, I don't think, but you will get Brady's side of this. And that will be interesting, because if you're Brady, you don't want to be told they don't want you back. You know, somebody's going to be the bad guy in this, in New England. Because if you're a fan, you're going, wait, did Belichick and Kraft not want him back? Did Tom not want to come back? Because you wake up this morning, you're going, wait a minute, what just happened here? And why now? Yeah, Paulie.
Do you remember what Ross Tucker said when he was on our show yesterday? He said after Brady decides to leave, if he leaves, the next week will be spent deciding who made the call to leave, whose decision it was, who moved on from whom. Spinning
it. Absolutely. There was other football news yesterday. We talked a lot about the Dallas Cowboys, and they paid Amari Cooper 5 years, $100 million. And now you have Dak Prescott, who's been franchise tagged. I don't want to say what somebody is worth, but when you look at these situations here with Dak Prescott, you got extra value because you're the Cowboys quarterback. And I know he understands that. He made a lot of money off the field. You're going to make money as the Cowboys quarterback more than any other quarterback in the NFL, more than any other position in sports. Being the starting quarterback for the Cowboys will bring in added revenue for you, personal income. And if you get $33 million and you have that for, if you want 3 years, $100 million for Dak Prescott, you make it guaranteed. You're still going to make great money. And then in those 3 years, you get back into the market, which to me would be what I would want to do. If I'm Dak Prescott, like, how much do I go? I want $35 million. I got to have $35 million. You're already going to make more than Jared Goff and Carson Wentz. You're not better than Carson Wentz. You're better than Jared Goff. You're not Russell Wilson. You're not Aaron Rodgers. You're not a lot of these quarterbacks here. You're a good quarterback. And I think what the Cowboys are offering is fair market value. Get whatever you can get. If he gets 35, great. Was it worth it? Is it going to be worth it with your team and players they can keep and not keep? Patrick Mahomes is going to go through this as well. Deshaun Watson will go through this as well. But if I'm Dak Prescott, I would love peace of mind that I got 3 years guaranteed and I'll be back on the market in 3 years. If you believe in yourself, you got an offensive line, Amari Cooper is back, you know, you get a better tight end in there. Randall Cobb just signed with the Texans, I believe. You know, so you got some moves that you have to make. But Dak Prescott right now with just that 1 year deal, franchise tag. All right, a few more deals to talk about, and we'll check in with the Buccaneers coming up. Mailroom time. That means more patches. Rancho Mirage and Riverside County Sheriff, thank you for checking in. Mountain View Fire Rescue in Colorado, thank you guys. Ooh, how sharp is that? City of Southgate Police. I wouldn't mind getting pulled over if you had that on. Wow, that's gorgeous. Orange County Law Enforcement Emerald Society, Orange County Peace Officers Association. Thank you for all of those. But wait, there's more. It's from Greg in Carson City, Nevada. He sent in a Hank Aaron bobblehead doll from 1974. Well, my man cave is complete now. This is from Todd Fiddler, South Carolina. Saw these at the store, couldn't help but hear the D's Nuts story you unearthed. If you need to stock up for the coronavirus, I'm your guy. He sent me Deets Nuts. So thank you, Todd. I got Deets Nuts and a bunch of patches and a Hank Aaron bobblehead doll. I've got everything I need right here. Maybe the Danettes would like some of Deets Nuts. I got some Deets Nuts here, if you'd like to. Deets Nuts.
D's.
These are Deets.
Deets Nuts.
buckle up, boys. Time to go to work. Place to go. Andrew Brandt, he just tweeted this out. Can you imagine news of quarantine, shuttered businesses, and market collapses with stories of NFL free agents signing big deals peppered in between? That's not, quote, giving a sense of normalcy, end quote.
Dan Patrick.
That's just the wrong thing to be doing. Bring in Ross Tucker. Should we be having free agency in the NFL right now, Ross?
I don't think it's going to get better, Dan, anytime soon. I mean, everything I've read, 2 weeks from now it'll be worse. 4 weeks from now it'll still be worse. So it might be better to do it now as opposed to 2 months from now.
Broadcasting from the Mercedes Man Cave, this is Dan Patrick.
Well, if you're just waking up, Tom Brady is not going back to New England. We don't know where he's going, or at least Tom says he doesn't know where he's going, but we do know where he's not going back to. That news broken by. Now, does the news get credit, like, according to Tom Brady? Tom Brady's going to get credit for this. This is Adam Schefter or Jeff Darlington or Tom Curran. Tom Brady, no Jay Glazer. Brady's going to get credit for this scoopage. But we don't know where he's going. Is it going to be Tampa? Is it going to be the Chargers? Is there a mystery team here? Could the Colts be involved in this? McLovin is handling the poll question honors this morning. What are the results from the first hour?
Where will Tom Brady go? Chargers, Bucks, or other? Chargers running away with it, 44%. Other, 29%. Bucks, only 28%.
All right. We'll check in with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and find out just how serious they are about Tom Brady. Rick Stroud, who covers the Buccaneers for the Tampa Bay Times, will join us coming up a little bit later on this hour. 877-3DP Show. Email address dp@danpatrick.com. Twitter handle at DP Show. Some head-scratching moves yesterday. Bill O'Brien leading the way. Bill O'Brien, the GM, made it harder for Bill O'Brien, the head coach, because you trade away DeAndre Hopkins. And from what I was told, Bill has a very short fuse and got tired of dealing with DeAndre Hopkins and decided that he was going to be traded this offseason, and that's what happened. The Patriots reportedly were in on the sweepstakes here for DeAndre Hopkins, but you start to look at this and say, all right, you give up your second-best player for a broken-down running back on a big contract and a second-round draft pick, and then when you think about it, the Texans don't have a first-round pick in 2020 or 2021, so replacing DeAndre Hopkins was going to be difficult. They're bringing in Randall Cobb. I guess that's how they're going to replace him here. But the Laramie Tunsil deal, horrible. They didn't get a first-round pick for Jadeveon Clowney. The Cowboys, the cornerback Byron Jones got a massive deal with the Miami Dolphins. Amari Cooper, he got 5 years, $100 million. Everybody got paid but Dak Prescott here. The Colts, they went for it, swung big. They brought in the all-pro defensive tackle DeForest Buckner from the 49ers, and they gave up the 13th pick in the 2020 draft. Also, they gave him $21 million a year. Man, that's a lot of money. Aaron Donald, okay. DeForest Buckner, $21 million a year. And a draft pick, a first-round draft pick there. I don't know if teams are going, hey, how do we stop Derrick Henry? Let's load up our defense here. The Ravens helped their defensive line. They got Calais Campbell, who they get as well, Brockers as well from the Rams, Michael Brockers. But you gave up the 13th pick in the draft. And I got to believe if you needed a wide receiver, you're certainly able to find one. And then you got the Titans, who gave Tannehill 4 years, $118 million, $62 million of that guaranteed. And then you franchise tag Derrick Henry. Yeah, Paul.
You mentioned wide receiver. I was reading some of the boards in Indianapolis. A lot of people are complaining that you needed that first-round draft pick to get a wide receiver to help T.Y. Hilton out. So one thing that team desperately needs is another A receiver. And this is the draft that's got a bunch of them. And at the 13th spot, you would have had your pick.
Yep. You could have gotten CeeDee Lamb, who I think is the best receiver in this draft. And even if you don't get him, there are other receivers there. And Lamb might go in the top 10. Robert Kraft told ESPN, according to Mike Reese, Quote, Tommy initiated contact last night and came over. We had a positive, respectful discussion. It's not the way I want it to end, but I want him to do what is in his best personal interest. After 20 years with us, he's earned that right. I love him like his son. And if you're just joining us, I'll tell you what a source told me this morning as this news broke, that he wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots said to Tom, we're moving on from you. Because Tom says he doesn't know where he's going. When I read the announcement that he had on social media, I thought, oh, okay, Tom is not going back to the New England Patriots because he is going to go. And then there was no, where's he going to go to right now? Is it going to be Tampa? Will it be the Chargers? Is there another team? And the reason why it's important, because I've had people say, why do you spend so much time on Brady? Well, look at what this decision is going to do. It's already changed the Patriots. Now we know there's going to be another quarterback. It could change the Chargers if they get him, if they don't get him. Do they turn it over to Tyrod Taylor? Do they take Justin Herbert? Do they trade up to get Tua? And then you look at Tampa. What's Tampa do? If they don't get him, do they get Teddy Bridgewater? If they do get him, what happens to Teddy Bridgewater? Does Teddy Bridgewater go to Chicago? Ross Tucker had a tweet this morning. Brady news is why the Bears couldn't add a quarterback yesterday. They were trying to bring in either Dalton or Bridgewater. And Ross Tucker says that they couldn't do that despite trying to leverage the situation. Bridgewater and Dalton both want to be the next starting quarterback of the Patriots. That's why we spend so much time on this. That's why you look at Brady and that decision and what that means for at least 3 franchises here, maybe 4. Tom Curran has a piece that he just put out. Let me see if there's anything juicy in here. Tom Curran covers the Patriots. Tom Brady reached out to Robert Kraft on Monday night and met with New England Patriots owner at his home in Brookline, Mass. Kraft explained to NBC Sports Boston that Brady explained he would be leaving the Patriots. So his choice. At least that's how they're spinning this. Kraft said the conversation was warm between the two men. We love each other very much, said Kraft. He's like a family member. This is very sad because he's like a son to me. All right. Well, is Tom leaving because Tom realizes that there is not a good offer there? But I want to give credit to a couple of people, and Tom Curran and Jeff Darlington had said all along, Tom Brady's not going back. Well, they said that because this is coming from Brady's side of the equation, because you're not going to hear Belichick's side of this. Brady's people probably said, no, he's not going back there. Okay, he doesn't know where he's going, but he knows that he's not going back to New England. Like that's what I find interesting. If you're that adamant that you're not going back, aren't you that adamant of knowing where you want to go? Because the Chargers and Buccaneers, it feels like, are all in on him. Is he waiting for somebody else there? Or you don't want to sign because you want to make sure, you don't jump the gun before somebody else says, hey, I wish you would have given us a chance. I still, for the life of me, don't understand why the Colts aren't in on Tom Brady. Do not understand that at all. I know the relationship between the offensive coordinator and Phillip Rivers, and they were there with the Chargers. But if I can have Tom Brady or Phillip Rivers, and I'm the Colts, I'm taking Tom Brady. McLovin, are we going to do a different poll question for this hour?
Absolutely, bud. We're going to say who's going to go to the Patriots next. Choices are Jarrett Stidham, who will be the starter rather. Jarrett Stidham, Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, Teddy Bridgewater on there. Who else goes on there?
Nick Foles is going to make it,
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles.
That was Paulie's suggestion. I love it. Why not? He beat them already.
Well, they're talking about Foles as a possibility in Chicago as well. But, all right, we can do that. So if you think, who would be the next starting quarterback for the Patriots? Teddy Bridgewater, Jarrett Stidham, Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, or other. When we had Tom Curran on, he said that plan B was Jarrett Stidham. And Tom Curran joining us now to take a victory lap. Good morning, Tom. How are you?
Hey, Dan. How are you? No victory laps here.
Well, you did say to me a couple of weeks ago when I texted you, I said, I think Tom's going to stay. And you said, I'll bet you anything you want to bet.
Oh, good.
So
Thank you for reminding me.
Yes.
This is going to be a great spring once we get outside.
All right. So what do you think transpired last night between Robert Kraft and Tom Brady?
I spoke to Kraft about 20 minutes ago. Brady reached out and asked if Robert had some time for him. Robert hoped that at his Brookline home they were going to sit down and have some resolution to what was going on. Even though negotiations hadn't even really started, the Patriots had not made any kind of an offer. Kraft hoped that that would be the result of what was going on, that they would start to make some headway. And instead, Brady was steadfast and going over there to explain that he was leaving the team. So Kraft said it was a very, quote, loving discussion. He was very sad. I asked whether or not – I asked if he felt that the Patriots had done enough in terms of negotiating and trying to make an effort to get Brady to stay, and Kraft said it wasn't about that. This is something that Tom feels he wants to do at this point, and he wasn't going to be happy in our system. Now, by system, I don't think that means offensive system. I think that means really the relationship at this point. While I don't think it's tense, I don't think it is disrespectful, I don't think it is loathsome, I think that the understanding, it's a philosophical difference. Brady thinks he can still play at a very high level for a while and wants to do that, wants to be surrounded by a specific set of players. And Belichick doesn't feel that way. And they haven't felt that way really since 2017, which is why he's never gotten any of these extensions that he was hoping for.
But do you think this is what Belichick wants?
Yeah, in the end. I mean, it's like, do you want surf or turf? Oh, I can take either. I could take either. Whatever.
Because
he stays.
And I had a source who told me this morning, and he said, look, I would not be surprised if the Patriots moved on from Tom Brady, but everybody wants to be careful in how this is presented to the media. What do you make of that?
I think that Tom Brady, and I wrote this the other day, wanted the ability to jump before he was pushed.
Okay.
And that's what he asked for with the ability to be a free agent. He knew even if he had signed a 2-year contract last year, the ability for the Patriots to trade him somewhere, the ability for the Patriots to cut him as cap savings, all those things remained in the offing. Yeah, I don't think that Bill is going to woke up this morning and said, boy, what are we going to do now? Now he has a massive amount of cap space available to him that is not going to be gobbled up by a quarterback. And certainly to have it gobbled up by a 43-year-old quarterback was not going to be appetizing. They're on their way.
I asked you this last week, I believe. I said, what is plan B? And you did not hesitate. You said Jarrett Stidham. Do you still believe that Jarrett Stidham is going to be the starting quarterback for the Patriots in 2020?
That's two different questions, Dan. Don't you give me that. Don't you put that hoodoo on me.
Okay, who is going to be the starting quarterback in 2020?
I think Jarrett Stidham has the inside track, Dan. Did you see? I'm not answering your question directly. I'm going to give you a different answer. I think that Jarrett Stidham is going to be given every opportunity to win that job. They will make moves since the only other quarterback on their roster right now is Cody Kessler, and those moves might be mid-tier veteran free agents, but I don't think they're going to get in the Andy Dalton business. I really don't. I'd be surprised if they did. That doesn't mean they won't, but I would be very surprised if they didn't say, okay, let's just – we can get done with Jarrett Stidham virtually the same thing we could get done with Andy Dalton. Let's just ride through here and see what we got.
How can Brady be this buttoned up, this prepared to be the greatest quarterback of all time and say, I'm not going to be back with the Patriots, but not know where he's going? I find that absolutely – I mean, it's unfathomable that Tom does not know where he's going. Do you believe that?
I believe he's probably got a destination in mind, but this is to me, Dan, this is a 24-hour rebuke of what the Patriots have done and why they put him here. This is, hey, I'll be telling you where I'm going to go, but I'll damn well love to tell you on March 17th where I'm not going to go. It's New England. That's what this is about to me. I'm not coming back. Sorry. They had their chance. They could have negotiated with me from the end of the football season until now. They didn't do it. Now the tampering period is underway and they still haven't picked up the phone. Last we knew, we had a fleet of tweets from Field Yates saying that Tom is on the hook to make the first move here. We just need to know what he needs so that we can figure out what we're doing. I mean, this to me is the Patriots backed him into a corner and he said, look, I just want you all to know I'm going to go someplace in the next couple of days. I'm not sure where, but it damn sure is not going to be back to New England.
Yeah, but the game of musical chairs here, if the Chargers all of a sudden say, you know what, we're going to go all in on Tua Tagovailoa or Justin Herbert here and make Tyrod Taylor our quarterback, and Tampa says we're going to make a move on Teddy Bridgewater here, like Tom knows when the music stops, he's got a chair to sit down on. That's why he knows where he's going. I can't imagine that Tom would go, hey, you know the best time to look for a job is when you have a job, not when you're out of a job.
Right. I'm sure that whatever conversations he had on Monday crystallized enough that whatever opportunities he has are not going to vanish once he releases a statement on Instagram. You know, he's not going to have those jobs go away today. So he needed to have that security before he made the statement. So, yeah, I agree with you on that. But I do think that this was a standalone day of saying goodbye to the Patriots, letting New England process it, letting that happen, and then he'll declare who he's supposed to go to play for next.
If you could ask Bill Belichick one question today, that question would be, and he'll answer it.
Why didn't you sign him to 2 years and $50 million last year? Why didn't you do this last August? Why didn't you get it done then?
I don't know if he wanted to.
I don't think he did either, bud.
I don't. I mean, you've been around him. I go back to every time when somebody says, man, they have to get along. They have to like each other. They're mutual respect. When I asked Brady at the Super Bowl, when I did the interview with him, I said, do you think you and Bill will ever open up the scrapbook and, you know, take a trip down memory lane? He goes, no. Like you got to, he laughed. It was like, you got to be crazy. Do you think we're ever going to do that? So this is business for Bill. And I applaud Brady for realizing, you may have bruised feelings, make it business. Because if you sit here and mope and feel bad and, oh, woe is me, and you know what? You're going to miss out on the opportunity to treat it as business just like Belichick does. So match him. Checkmate. All right, you want to make it business? I make it business too. And here you go, Bill. Good luck.
Exactly right.
And
exactly right.
How could Tommy ruin St. Patty's Day in Boston?
Well, it's bleak. It's rainy. Everybody's stuck in their house anyway. At least he gave him some. Part of what we like to do as Irish is to cry in our beer.
I think today the beer, your mug will never get empty because the tears will just keep refilling it. So it's a bottomless mug that you're going to have today.
People are sad.
Yeah,
there's much sadness right now.
Keep your head up, though.
All right, man. I got to write a damn column.
Oh, a Dan column or a damn column?
Damn, D-A-M-N.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, good luck with that.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks for following along. It's been nice.
Yep.
It's been a great relationship. This will be the end of it, I guess, now.
Probably not talk to you in a long time.
Okay. See you at the wake.
You had a good run there. You had a good run. I'm going to go to the wake of our relationship. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to say nice things about you.
Didn't you used to be Dan Patrick? All right, I'll see.
Thank you, Tom. That's Tom E. Curran with the initial E, not Tommy. There's only one Tommy in Boston. Well, there's Tommy Heinsohn as well. All right, we'll take a break here. Check in with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and phone calls coming up as well. A lot to get to today. Got a stat of the day. Seton, how you feeling being a Patriot fan?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, the word rebuild keeps running through my mind.
No, we reload. Yeah. We
Would
reload.
have been nice if they had done that some point this last season.
We reload our muskets. Yeah. We reload our muskets there.
Yeah. I got to figure out how I'm going to break that news to a little boy who's probably still sleeping in from day off of school today. But
he wakes up.
Maybe Mom will take care of that.
Yeah. Can you?
I don't know. Ask your mother.
Can you break the news that Tommy is not going to be back?
Because he was devastated when Deion Lewis left. So I can only imagine when TB12.
Yeah. Hashtag Tommy. Yeah. All right, we'll take a break. Check in with the Buccaneers, and your phone calls are coming up next. 20 after the hour. This is the Dan Patrick Show. Oh, you want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year automatically. No limit on how much you can earn, which is amazing. In fact, even more amazing because of all the places where Discover is accepted. Over 95% of the places in the United States that take credit cards, according to the 2019 Nielsen report, take the Discover credit card. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing the word yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. That's discover.com/yes. And limitations apply.
Penny, get your ball. Get your ball.
Get your ball.
Give me that ball.
Run it again.
Penny, look what I got.
What?
Look what I got. Ooh, off the green monster. Hey, come on. What are you
winning
doing?
a thing. I'm not getting that.
Penny, I got your ball right here. Get your ball right here. Yes. Off the wall. Oh, that's nice. Nice. Okay, you ready? Are you ready? Oh, that's tricky in the corner. Oh, man, that's nice. Oh, you're my Mike Trout. You ready? Yes. Go get it, girl. Ooh, I like it. Keep the ball in front of you. That's it. That's it. Wait a minute. Go get your ball. Go get your ball. Get your ball. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, it's off the green monster. Oh, yay! Yay! Good job. You ready? Pen? What is going on with this girl? Hey, look what I got. Ooh, I like it, man. You're a five-tool player. Ooh. That's nice. Yep, we'll never hear from Tom Curran again.
Oh. Yeah, last time we're having
You got your wish, Seton. No more Tom Curran.
No more Tom Curran.
Come on, Weeks.
Come on.
Make sure you go to rockauto.com. All the parts your car or truck will ever need. Rockauto.com. Family business founded by automotive engineers in 1999. 2 goals in mind. First, to give you direct access to all the parts information hidden in the computers and catalogs behind the parts store counter. And second, to make parts affordable by offering reliably low prices. RockAuto.com. Choose the part, brands, prices, features you want anytime, 24/7. RockAuto.com. A lot of the parts you've been told dealer only are no longer available, and they're delivered directly to your home or office. You don't waste time and money hunting for the parts, phoning, driving, waiting in lines. Go to rockauto.com. Make sure you tell them we sent you. All the parts your car or truck will ever need. rockauto.com. By the way, we have some corned beef on the way.
Now we're talking?
Yep. Well, we were going to have the bagpipes in, but, the social distancing, and I understood that. So I thought, well, I got to have something that says St. Patty's Day today. And if you're in New England and you wake up and Tom Brady is no longer a Patriot, I mean, you need your spirits lifted a little bit, at least vicariously through us. We'll have some corned beef coming in here next hour. Sorry, McLovin, the fact that McLovin is not going to be able to enjoy the corned beef here in the man cave.
Does anyone eat more corned beef when that corned beef comes into me?
I know.
This is the worst news so far this week.
I know.
Well, not.
I know. Update the poll results. Got some phone calls, then we'll check in with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay, the new poll is who is most likely to start for the Patriots week 1. Actually, Andy Dalton is still leading that despite Tom Curran's comment that he's not in play for it.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Jarrett Stidham and, what they think of him. My source text me this morning about the Patriots situation, and he thinks the Patriots moved on from Tom Brady, but out of respect to Robert Kraft, that he wanted to meet with him to say goodbye. I don't know if he's going to have that meeting with Bill Belichick. You didn't. I don't know if that's on the way to Kraft's house where you stop in and you're going to see Bill, but that might have been the situation where he's going to say goodbye to Robert Kraft. I wish you well. Thank you for everything you did. You can hug, and then he's on his way out the door. But probably this situation. Also, my source said, hey, go back to Mike Mayock when he was working for the NFL Network. And who's the quarterback he really loved in the draft with Jameis Winston? Marcus Mariota. He liked him more than he did Jameis Winston. So just, he's a Raider now, but just something to file away when you look at that move that the Raiders made with Marcus Mariota. That's a guy you buy low and you can sell high. I would have taken a flyer on him if I was the Raiders, New England, some of these other teams. Yes, McLovin.
How about drafting a guy like a Jalen Hurts or a mid-round guy and maybe a mobile guy?
Well, I don't know. Once again, you're trying to get into the mind of Belichick of what he's going to need, and you already got a young quarterback. I don't know if you want to bring in another young quarterback. It feels like you need somebody who is got some, veteran skills, leadership skills, who's been through the wars a little bit here before you want to bring in another young quarterback. Kevin in Chicago joins us. Hi, Kevin. What do you have for me?
Hey, Dan. 6'2", 185, first time, long time. So I'm thinking if you're, if you're a fan of the Chargers, the Bears, maybe even the Bucks, wouldn't you feel pretty dirty about winning games with a guy like Tom Brady?
Wait, if you're a Bears fan and you're going to feel dirty winning games, Paulie, you're a Bears fan.
I feel horrible about myself a lot. I'd rather win as well. Just come on,
Kevin. Seriously?
All I ever wanted was a franchise quarterback. That's not my franchise quarterback. That's somebody else's.
Yeah, I think if you're a Bears fan, you might take him on loan there. But thanks for the phone call, Kevin. I thought Bears fans are desperate for anybody who can play the position.
That I confirm.
Yeah, right.
Brady would not go there. That's where quarterbacks go to die.
Let me go to JP, and then we'll check in with the Buccaneers. Hey, JP, how's morale?
Morale is not too good, Dan. I'm 5'10", 193. It's probably going to go up over the next few days with, comfort eating. So I used to call you guys a lot when I lived in Los Angeles. I had to move back to Boston in September, take care of some family stuff. But why I'm calling is I'm feeling sorry for myself and being completely self-centered because when I moved to the West Coast in 2002, that's when all the stuff started happening great around here. And then when I moved back in September, the idea started in around July. Everything started falling off the wheels started falling off the wagon for Boston sports. Mookie Betts, the Red Sox collapse, the Bruins Stanley Cup Game 7 loss. I mean, now this. I mean, it's got to be me. I'm trying not to take it personally.
I think you should move back to L.A., JP.
My friends are telling me. I got to take care of my parents, though, guys. Come on.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling, JP. I feel your pain. I can hear your pain. I don't know how you feel if you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneer right now, if you're Bruce Arians. I don't know how you feel. And if you're a fan, do you feel like, is that who we want, Tom Brady? Does that make the most sense? Or does Teddy Bridgewater make the most sense? Rick Stroud's been all over this. He covers the Buccaneers for the Tampa Bay Times. Rick, how do you think Buccaneer fans are feeling right now after that news from Tom Brady?
Dan, I'll make it easy for you. Hell yes. This is a franchise that hasn't been relevant since 2002 when they won the Super Bowl. They've missed the playoffs, and by a lot, 12 straight years. So TB12 and TB, yeah, I mean, they're all about it. Now, we can't have nice things, right? That's the whole thing in Tampa. The hockey team wins the President's Trophy and loses in 4 games. The Rays win 97, and now they're talking about going to Montreal. So, everybody's sort of like, if you're a fan here, you don't want to give your heart to this. But from an organizational standpoint, I mean, I would just say this, consider Bruce Arians having coached Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Carson Palmer, Andrew Luck. When Tom Brady, starts asking around and he looks at this football team, if it's a football decision, I think it's an easy one. Now, the Chargers are 1 year removed, from being 12-5. I don't know Anthony Lynn that well. I mean, L.A., it's his home state. But I've kind of felt for a while that, that the Bucs are really a place that he could end up. And I know it sounds ridiculous in some ways, the Patriots to the Bucs, but that's where we're at.
But also, I'm trying to figure that when Tampa's all in, or at least that's the report, all in, and I think you had this report. What does all in mean?
Well, what it means is that they're not going to be outbid in terms of salary. I mean, they had almost over $80 million in salary cap space. That probably went up a little bit. Like I said, I think what it means is they're going to make as good of a pitch as they can possibly make. If he wants, if he's worried about the offense, okay, it's too vertical, not enough protection. I want to run what I do. I don't think that's going to be a problem for Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians has coached a long time. Byron Leftwich will work with Brady for game planning purposes. Clyde Christensen was Peyton Manning's offensive coordinator after Tony Dungy left. They went to a Super Bowl, and Peyton ran Peyton's offense. Now, obviously, they weren't going to change it, but my point is it's something he could get if he wanted, a slot receiver that could work underneath like Edelman or somebody like that. I mean, they would work with him to try to make him comfortable. But there's already lots of weapons here, and they're going to draft a offensive lineman, maybe a running back that can catch. So the defense the last 6 weeks were among the best in the NFL. Those young guys grew up. They re-signed Jason Pierre-Paul. They franchised Shaq Barrett, who led the league in sacks. There are some football pieces here, but it's Tampa Bay. It's like great place to live, all those things. That's what I mean. They're going to sell him, but mostly if he comes, I think it's going to be because of Bruce Arians.
Is Jameis Winston a starting quarterback in the NFL, in your opinion?
I think he's going to have to work his way back to that, Dan. He's got talent. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the guy can absolutely rip the ball down the field. The problem is, and I've had it described to me, he's a slow twitch guy in a quick twitch position. He doesn't make decisions fast enough at times. Most of the throws that get him in trouble are underneath, and he doesn't give up on plays when he should at times. He's a talented guy. He works his ass off. He deserves to start in this league. He's one of the top 32 quarterbacks. I have no doubt about that. But he may have to, go the Ryan Tannehill route and maybe back up a wobbly starter somewhere, and when he gets his chance, light it up.
What's plan B for the Buccaneers if you whiff on Tom Brady?
Well, I think you're going to go from TB12 to TB5. It's going to
Teddy Bridgewater?
Teddy Bridgewater, yeah. which is a big, kind of a shot in the stomach when you look at it that way. But Teddy did a good job against them last year. They played the Saints. He threw for 304 touchdowns. So I remember Bruce Arians coming in after that game saying, "Man, I love Teddy, and he should be a starter in this league." Well, he may have to give him that opportunity.
Are you here to guarantee that the next quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will have the initials TB?
I think so. I think TB5, TB12 for Tampa Bay. It's made to order, Dan. I think they have to just go ahead and start filling the number later. Just put the TV there.
But I'm worried. This is what I'm worried about with Brady. Does Brady look good in those Tampa Bay uniforms?
Well, here's the thing, Dan. I mean, and they must have been anticipating this because they're changing them. They're changing the uniform. Can you imagine him walking out, or hell, maybe Giselle, modeling the new ones? I mean, they're going back to the getting rid of the alarm clock numbers. That was a bad idea.
Yep.
And they're going back to the Super Bowl, block letters, more traditional uniforms.
I think the creamsicle fits Brady. Ricky Bell, Doug Williams, creamsicle.
I love them. I mean, I love those uniforms, but people hated them when they were losing.
Well, if you win,
they only got good.
If you win,
when they took them off.
But Rick, when you win, it's amazing how good a uniform looks.
I'm telling you, that's absolutely true. So, yeah, I tell you, it won't matter what uniform he wears. If it's Tom Brady, he looks good in anything, right?
Do you think that there's a decision by the end of the week with Tom Brady?
I think that they'll have to be. He can't really sign with anybody, I think, until Wednesday at 4.
Yeah.
But I think by the end of the week, look, these teams need to know. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, is going to have an opportunity to go someplace. We thought he was going to be a Bear. Why didn't we see that coming, Teddy Bear? But it turned out that they're going another way, and I imagine that Bridgewater, to some extent, Winston. Look, it's not out of the question. Okay. That Jameis comes back here. If he goes out, can't find a starting job with starters' money, the Bucs strike out and some free agents, they may have him back. But right now, I know it sounds weird, but Tom Brady, Tampa Bay.
I've guaranteed that the Buccaneers are making the playoffs. I just don't know if I can continue to make that bet if Jameis Winston's the starting quarterback. I have to retract that.
Yeah, I don't know how you could. I mean, he's been here 5 years. He would have made it under the new rules, though, Dan. Doesn't everybody make the playoffs now? I mean, I think they're going to have 12 teams or 14 teams or something like that.
I know.
I think he'd have made it. Tell you what, he would have made it back in 16 when they were 9-7 under the new rules where everybody gets in. So, he'd have a shot. He's not going to throw 30, will he? If he comes back.
30 touchdowns or 30 interceptions?
30 interceptions.
He's balanced.
2020 for 2020. That's the motto now with his new vision and everything. So.
I love that he gets everybody involved. Offense, defense, the opposition, everybody gets involved with. I think he's the most fascinating player in the NFL because and not in a good way. I can't take my eyes off Jameis Winston when he's out there.
I just remember John Gruden used to talk about quarterbacks. I tell you what, it's like a ride on the Sheikra, man. You know what I mean? He's all over the place. I mean, it is. You can't look down to get a freaking glass of water without seeing somebody running with the ball somewhere. So he is exciting and he has talent, and I really do believe this. I think he'll play 15 years and he's going to find himself in a Super Bowl. I don't know if it's the way Doug Williams did it or Trent Dilfer or what, but everybody that leaves Tampa, as you know, as a quarterback, you got to go to a Super Bowl.
Good poll on the John Gruden impersonation there. I like that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, 6 years listening to John, more than Frank Caliendo at this point. But, yeah.
Thank you, Rick. We'll be reading. We'll be following. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Dan. Take care.
That's Rick Stroud. He covers the Buccaneers for the Tampa Bay Times. That's a good appearance there. Let me see. Let me get to Mo in Arizona. Hey, Mo. What do you have for me?
Hey, how's it going, Dan?
Good, Mo.
Dan, okay, look, I got a conspiracy theory. We all know that Belichick is an evil genius, and he loves Garoppolo. Would that not make sense for Tom Brady to go to the Niners?
It doesn't make sense for the Niners. I mean, all for it. If you want to have chaos, great. But if I'm the Niners, you got your quarterback. You almost won a Super Bowl, and he's the future. He's 15 years younger than Tom Brady is.
Completely understand that, but, it's all about winning right now. So if we can get 2 years out of Brady, and Garoppolo is basically Alex Smith's twin brother, or Alex, Smith's twin brother. So if we go and do that and switch it over, why would that not make sense for the Niners? Because we get 2 years, and if 2 years and Garoppolo doesn't win, they're going to trade him off anyway, or we get a pick, and then we got the 13th pick that we can send to Belichick. And Belichick, we don't know who he's going to pick, but he'll pick somebody with that 13th pick.
Yeah, well, good luck with that, Mo. I don't see that happening. Chris Sims, who is really good friends with Kyle Shanahan, reported on Sunday that the Niners had moved on from Tom Brady. I don't know if somebody goes, oh, Brady actually did it. He went in and said goodbye to the Patriots. Now let's get serious about this. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I think Brady went in, and I do think the spin on this is very important in New England. Did Tom say goodbye? Did the Patriots say goodbye? Do the Patriots not want Tom Brady? Brady doesn't want the Patriots. I think the spin on this is really interesting to watch because I get the feeling Belichick had already moved on from Tom Brady when he didn't want him for 2 years for $50 million. He was already saying, look, when this ends, it ends, and then I move on with this. Yes,
Who do you think then has more pressure on them coming up this season, Brady or Belichick?
I think that's the final hour poll question. I think that's a great question there. It depends on how this comes out, that if the Patriots didn't want him but he wanted to go back, then you might have some sympathy for Tom to say, well, he had to go to Tampa because the Patriots didn't want him. Belichick, I think there's more pressure because Belichick's saying, in my opinion, we don't want you, Tom. And I can do this with somebody else. I can take some, mid-round draft pick, and I can make magic.
And you've got every decent wide receiver signing everywhere else where you brought back a McCourty and Matthew Slater, who is cool and all, but everybody else is leaving.
I want to know how Edelman feels today. I got to believe there's some tears there. But he'd already been given a heads up here, I'm sure. But remember Edelman at the Syracuse game? He's coming back.
He's coming back.
And Tom gave him that look like, hey, pipsqueak.
A little side eye.
Yeah.
What are you?
Little brother, shut up here. All right, we'll take a break. That'll be the poll question. How about that? We'll put that one up. Who gets another Super Bowl ring? Brady or Belichick? I think the pressure part of it is good. Let's see where Brady ends up, and then we could ask that question. But I think who has more pressure, just from the separation here. We'll take a break. More phone calls coming up here on the Dan Patrick Show.
Dan, I usually make pithy jokes up at this board, but not now. Not now. Tom Brady should do this. He and his agent, before they go to Tampa, put it up on the screen, please, should insist that they return to these uniforms. Now, look at these orange. They're gorgeous. The helmet, everything's working. Tom,
I like it.
His wife would love it, I think. Now, this is Ricky Bell, rest in peace, but it was weird that year they didn't wear a face mask. I think that was a big mistake.
Yeah. They were the only team that didn't wear a face mask.
It didn't work out. They didn't win any games that year.
Yeah.
But I think Tom should say, look, I'm coming down. You got like 5 or 6 months to get this together.
And he should dress like the Buccaneer when he shows up at his press conference.
Yeah, like the little swashbuckler.
Yeah, right.
I'm in. Let's get it done.
I love it.
Fritzy, new shirt for St. Patrick's Day?
I've had this for a while, but I
really?
thought I wanted to go green today. It's definitely the day for green.
We got corned beef coming. Get to your phone calls coming up. This from the New England Patriots, a press release by Bill Belichick, Patriots head coach. Well, they drew that up quickly after last night's meeting. I'll get to the last paragraph here. Sometimes in life, it takes some time to pass before truly appreciating something or someone, but that has not been the case with Tom. He's a special person and the greatest quarterback of all time. Bill Belichick, Patriots head coach. Hey. I probably had that press release ready at some point there, I'm going to guess. But Belichick saying goodbye to Tom, not in person, but Robert Kraft did last night, according to Tom. Curran had the conversation with Robert Kraft earlier today, and they parted ways. We don't know where he's going. Tampa Bay's all in. Chargers probably all in. And I guess the Niners were at least interested, but according to Chris Sims, they finally got around to backing their guy, Jimmy Garoppolo. And still, that was bizarre, where you go, all Kyle Shanahan has to do is say, hey, we got our guy. And then he didn't. So I think that they were interested to a certain degree because they didn't refute this. And the fact that the Titans were using Brady as leverage to get Ryan Tannehill to re-sign. I thought that was interesting as well. Nate in Vermont. Nate, how are you today?
Doing great, Dan. 6'4", 245. I got the perfect landing spot for Brady.
Okay.
Same crappy weather. We just got Stephon Diggs. Great team. Only Josh Allen is the only thing that held us back. The Buffalo Bills.
No, I don't see that. You know, this is a lifestyle change. I mean, that's a lifestyle change for Tom, but that ain't happening. And you got Stephon Diggs, and, you know, you got a guy who can give you a deep threat there. If Josh Allen figures out how to play the position and becomes an accurate passer, then you're going to have a whole lot of fun. Because I do like what Buffalo did. You know where I stood with them in making the playoffs last year. And, you know, I said they were a 10-win team. You know, getting Diggs, you know, hopefully you keep him happy, because that's another thing that, you know, he wasn't happy in Minnesota because that's a run-first team. And, you know, Adam Thielen was probably the favorite of Kirk D. Cousins. But the Vikings shipped Diggs to the Bills for draft picks. He tied for the league lead with 8 catches for at least 40 yards. The entire Bills team had exactly 8 passing plays go for at least 40 yards last season. Dave in Illinois joins us this morning. Dave, what do you have for me?
Hey, Dan. Thanks very much. 6 foot, 165.
All right.
Now, everything that's going on in the AFC East, I know Buffalo is stacked up, and I know Miami is stacked up, but please give me a glimmer of hope that my beloved Jets might.
I can't give you a glimmer of hope, Dave. But thanks for calling. I mean, I can't even mask it. I can't even fake it. Now, maybe if your quarterback is healthy the entire year, that's a good start. I just don't have a lot of confidence in your head coach because he feels like he should be a coordinator, not a head coach. Other than that, you should be fine this year. What's going to happen with Le'Veon Bell? What exactly is going on with the Jets? The Texans, shocked everybody by trading DeAndre Hopkins to Arizona yesterday. And I was curious about this. Hopkins has made first-team All-Pro in each of the last 3 seasons. He's only 27. The last skill position player to make All-Pro first team 3 straight seasons and then not return to his team the following season, Jim Brown. He retired. So that's how long it's been. That's how crazy that was. And look, I had a source say DeAndre Hopkins overvalued himself, could be a pain in the butt. But if you're Bill O'Brien, you still have you have Deshaun Watson. He needs to have people to throw to. He runs for his life all the time. And I got a guy who is, by all accounts, one of the top 3 wide receivers in the game. He is durable, consistent, and he's a beast out there. And then you trade him, and then you get a running back who used to be good, and you didn't need him. Still crazy. Got to be something more to that deal, it feels like. 2 hours in the books, 1 more to go. More phone calls coming up. Seton Paulie, Fritz, and McLovin, yours truly, on this St. Patty's Day. You guys want to kind of walk out with Amazing Grace? Is that okay? As we get back on the air. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Fired up.
Thank you.
New Haven County firefighter, Emerald Society Pipes and Drums.
Kate.
Get them all out the door here. That's great. That's great. New Haven County firefighters. And bagpipes.
All right, so initially I had put up 10 and 14, which we all decided I was going to be too easy with the Hopkins and Diggs jersey numbers. So I went with 1165. What do you think?
Ask Paulie.
1164. Paulie is good at that stuff. So
65.
we took the jersey numbers off, but we have
Belichick's 65 years old.
It is NFL related. It is
Belichick's 65, and it's been 11 years since the Patriots
It
missed
is
the playoffs.
free agent NFL related.
I was going to go, I don't think this is right, Conklin. Going to Cleveland Browns.
Read the four digits together, NFL free agent related. I'm giving you lots of clues here. Not giving it away.
1165?
1165 is the number. Well, what does that represent? From this past season. Who would have a number of 1165 something? That's
I was going to do catches.
Stephon Diggs yardage.
Someone else has receiving yards.
DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins receiving
Whoa!
yards of 1,165. That's good.
That's a whole lot better than 10 and.
Buckle up, boys. Time to go to work. Andrew Brandt, he just tweeted this out. Can you imagine news of quarantine, shuttered businesses, and market collapses with stories of NFL free agents signing big deals peppered in between? That's not, quote, giving a sense of normalcy, end quote.
Dan Patrick.
That's just the wrong thing to be doing. Bring in Ross Tucker. Should we be having free agency in the NFL right now, Ross?
I don't think it's going to get better, Dan, anytime soon. I mean, everything I've read, 2 weeks from now it'll be worse. 4 weeks from now it'll still be worse. So it might be better to do it now as opposed to 2 months from now.
Broadcasting from the Mercedes Man Cave, this is Dan Patrick.
Final hour. What a wild day this has been. Happy St. Paddy's Day. Tom Brady not going back to New England, but is not letting us in on the secret of where he is going to go. It feels like there's two teams, the Chargers and the Buccaneers. Or at least that's the feeling. Or ... question mark here. And maybe there will be a team that swoops in. Because you might say, hey, once Tom decides to leave, once we see it, then we'll believe it. And even when we saw the report, the press release by Tom Brady on social media saying, hey, thanks for the memories, but I'm leaving. We kind of looked at each other. This is 15 minutes before the show started. We're like, Brady just said goodbye. And then you go, okay, now it's real. Now where is he going? Tampa's all in. Chargers apparently are all in. Or at least I know Tampa is. I don't know about the Chargers. Because if you're the Chargers and you have a really high draft pick, you're going to have a couple of questions here. We want to be relevant. Tyrod Taylor, Justin Herbert doesn't make us relevant. Not right now. You can get Tom Brady. He makes you relevant. And you could make the argument that he makes you a little bit better right now. And you're going to move into that new stadium. But also, what exactly are you going to get now as opposed to down the road here if you're the Chargers? Just saw this, Ian Rappaport. Based on the previous discussions between the Panthers organization and Cam Newton's agent, it has been agreed upon to allow Cam and his agency team to seek a trade. I've been saying this all along. He wasn't going back. You got to rebuild here. Why do I want a rebuilt quarterback on a rebuild team? Or at least you don't even know if he's rebuilt right now. They're starting over. Christian McCaffrey told me that at the Super Bowl. Is this a rebuild? Yes, it is. Luke Kuechly gone. Greg Olsen gone. Now Cam Newton appears to be gone. And the last person left is Christian McCaffrey. Is Christian McCaffrey safe with the Carolina Panthers? You got to have somebody to show up and watch. So I don't know now are they going all in on a quarterback as well? Because that's sort of the buzz here that they want a quarterback in the draft. Yeah, Paulie.
Send Trubisky back to the state of North Carolina?
I don't think they want him back.
No. The entire state?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. If I told you a month ago Tom Brady would not be a Patriot or March Madness would be canceled, I guess you would say, all right, I can believe that Tom Brady would not be a Patriot anymore. March Madness being canceled. Did you see where Kansas and Bill Self said, hey, we might as well celebrate with a huge asterisk by our name that we're national champs? How many times has the number one overall seed won the national title? Can you get Stats Inc. on that one, McLovin? And we'll find out because Bill self-promoter, says that we'd have a huge asterisk by our name. But, yeah, why don't we crown ourselves national champ? Yeah, Paulie.
Bill Self better be careful. There's going to be a couple seasons with asterisks. The way he's on, the pace he's on.
Wow.
No offense. Rock chalk.
Wow.
Rock chalk.
Rock chalk, Jayhawk. Bestowing national title to Kansas would be great, Bill Self said. Of course it would be. How about Dayton? I said that's why I wanted the brackets released. And if you're a number one seed, everybody should have a national championship celebration day. Why not? Bill Self said on a teleconference, I think from our standpoint that would be great, but even if that occurred, and I don't think it would, there would be a huge asterisk on our side, and it would be the first.
But it's too easy. T-ball.
Yeah. All right. So a wild day, certainly yesterday, and then today, and then Brady's going to own another day at least later on this week. I asked Tom Curran, who covers the Patriots for NBC Sports Boston, about when a decision is made. Does Tampa know by the end of the week? And you get the feeling, how much longer is Brady does this process take? Where are you flying to the Chargers? Chargers flying to you? You're going to Tampa, vice versa. Do you need to do that? Plus, with the off season being truncated because of the coronavirus, when can you get together with your new team? And then trying to speed up the process of what Brady's going to bring to a team and what he needs. What's the terminology? Is he going to do a system that is already catered to him? Can he get that turned around in a briefer period of time? So I think that there's a few things that will have to happen here. But free agency continues, and the Cowboys are paying everybody but Dak Prescott. It's not a bad consolation prize to get $33 million, but if you're Dak Prescott, you have to look around and go, man, how did I not get a deal done? Did it come down to maybe $8 to $10 million over a 3-year period? Because if I'm Dak Prescott and I say to Jerry Jones, I want a 3-year deal. I want a 3-year deal, pay me $100 million guaranteed. You're going to make $10 million at least off the field, probably in endorsements, being the Cowboys quarterback. You got your team still in place. You still have a chance. You couldn't take advantage of a depleted NFC East last year. Like you didn't even win your division. Yeah, Paul.
The senior quarterback in the NFC East is Sam Darnold. He's 22 years old. He's got the most NFL experience. And then after him, it'd be like him, Josh Allen, be the 2 oldest quarterbacks in the division. Stidham, very little experience. Miami, whoever they have, probably little experience.
Well, no, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh, yeah, he's got age.
Oh, yeah, he's older than all the quarterbacks combined, I think.
Hopefully they move on.
I don't know. Somebody they were throwing that out. Hey, could you see Tom going to the Dolphins? No. I mean, he's got a relationship with Brian Flores, I guess. But, you know, would I want to go there? Like, who are my weapons in Miami? And this is a lifestyle change. And that's why I think the Chargers play a large role in this, because of the lifestyle change with Brady. If, you know, living in Los Angeles and whatever he wants to do in Hollywood with his production company, I understand all of those things. And Tampa, there's a lot to offer with Tampa. You know, just the football portion of this. Lifestyle, that doesn't fit into his lifestyle change that he goes to Tampa. But Los Angeles, it does. You start to look at these quarterbacks who are available now. Tom Brady, Cam Newton, Phillip Rivers, Andy Dalton, Teddy Bridgewater, Jameis Winston, Nick Foles. Who's going to be a starter out of that group? Brady will be. Phillip Rivers will be. Teddy Bridgewater probably will be. I don't think Dalton starts out that way. Jameis Winston doesn't start out that way. And I don't think Nick Foles does as well. Yes, Paul.
Dan, I got more hot quarterback news. Are you ready for this one? This involves, Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears. Both teams kind of in flux.
Yeah.
Chase Daniel is the new Detroit backup quarterback.
Yes.
3 years, $13 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Chase Daniel, has he made more money than any other backup quarterback in the history of the game?
Probably, and per game, I think he started 4 games and he's made $40 million.
Yeah. He must be really good at helping the starting quarterback get ready. I'm going to guess. McLevin, did we do away with the previous poll question? Now we have that new one. Who's got more pressure on him going into next season?
Yeah, early results. 55% say that Bill Belichick has more pressure on him next season than Tom Brady.
Yeah, Belichick, because it feels like they made the decision here. They made Tom an offer that he could refuse. So I would say Belichick's going to have more pressure here for the next 2 years, while Brady is still playing. Because Brady, it might be a little bit more of a, hey, I didn't want to leave, but they gave me no choice here. Yeah, McLevin.
What about this idea that Bill Belichick gets a tanking year or a rebuilding year? Would that take some pressure off of him?
But is he tanking?
Didn't Seton say that it feels like a rebuilding year, and he's the Pats fan? Any other team gets rid of all their free agents, you'd say they're tanking.
Yeah, but why would you then try to trade for DeAndre Hopkins? That doesn't make sense if you're going to try to rebuild, because the report is that, according to Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, the Patriots were involved in trade talks to get Hopkins from Houston. So you're not going to rebuild if you're going to bring in DeAndre Hopkins. I wonder what the Patriots' offer was. Yeah, McLevin.
The internet's already talking about Trevor Lawrence to Bill Belichick and the Patriots. That's where the hot trends.
They're not going to be that bad, because you're going to have to be really bad. Who wants to be really bad this upcoming season? If Trevor Lawrence is the chosen one, then who is going to be that team that says we don't want to be winning anytime soon? Like the Redskins could bring in Chase Young. Chase Young's going to make you better. Like if you don't want to win, then you trade that pick. But who is going to be bad enough to get Trevor Lawrence? And you start to look at these teams and handicap them. Who are the worst teams in football right now? And out of that group, who do you think is going to go, we're tanking for Trevor? Yeah, Paulie.
It's weird, but the Bengals are 2-14, and they're going to have a rookie quarterback starting most of the season next year. So they could be easily top 3. They're not going to need the pick, but
Well, you're not going to try to tank, but you might be tanking just because of the weapons or lack thereof that you have with Joe Burrow. And imagine having the number 1 overall pick, and then there's Trevor Lawrence there.
Panthers on a rebuild. Panthers are 5-11 with some Cam Newton. If they rebuild, they could go way down.
Yeah, but I wonder if they're going to use that early first-round pick and get a quarterback. But if I'm Carolina and all of a sudden I can just say, hey, you know what, we're rebuilding this year, and everybody knows that, and all of a sudden you end up with 2 or 3 wins, and you end up with Trevor Lawrence, with Matt Rule, Christian McCaffrey. All right, now you got something there. Yeah, McLevin.
How about a Jacksonville or a Detroit?
What happened to my Jacksonville Jaguars? Like 18 months ago? They're playing in the AFC title game. They're a couple of plays away from going to the Super Bowl. And then since then, what a mess. Calais Campbell just got traded. I mean, they got 2 quarterbacks. You overspent for Nick Foles. You found something in Gardner Minshew. Now will somebody take Nick Foles off your hands? What do you have? You got Leonard Fournette, Gardner Minshew, and what? I mean, that was a team that was on the cusp. They were there. And you see these teams. The Rams were on the cusp. They went to the Super Bowl. But it feels like they're not close to being a Super Bowl team. And if they're able to trade Brandon Cooks and Todd Gurley, God bless them. Those were 2 bad deals to begin with. And I don't know if you can get a taker on. Well, I mean, you could always say to the Texans, hey, you guys want another expensive running back? And we got Brandon Cooks. Bill O'Brien, what do you think? Yeah, sure, I'll take him. I'll give you draft picks in 2031 and 2032 for him. Like, the Texans are a mess, too. They got rid of all their draft picks. You got rid of your second best player. If I'm J.J. Watt, I got to go, did you reach out to J.J. Watt and ask him what he thought of this, Paulie?
Too soon.
No, it's not.
He's going to be a Packer in a year and a half.
J.J. Watt wound up with Green Bay?
Yes. Mark it.
Wait, I'm literally writing that down. I got some Meat Friday songs to play, and Trevor Bauer is doing a pretty cool thing. Reds pitcher, raising money, hopes to raise $1 million, and he's saying that playing wiffle ball, and it's a fundraiser for the stadium workers, and so he'll join us coming up a little bit. Michelle Steele of ESPN just tweeted, said, Stephen A. Smith just said Robert Kraft called him during the last commercial break and told him, be very clear, if Tom Brady wanted to stay, we would have worked it out. He would have remained a New England Patriot. Tom wanted to leave.
Celebrity journalist Flo Anthony, who claims to have spoken to a source with knowledge from someone close to Woods, says Tiger is struggling.
Okay. So if Tom wanted to stay, then he could. Well, why have a conversation with Belichick if you didn't want to stay? This was a foregone conclusion, then okay. And that might explain why Jeff Darlington and Tom Curran were so quick to bet me and Paulie that Brady was leaving, that he had already made up his mind. But I think that they gave him a deal, or they gave him the lack of a deal that was easy to turn down here. That's according to Stephen A. Robert Kraft called him and told him, be very clear, if Tom Brady wanted to stay, we would have worked it out. He would have remained a New England Patriot, but Tom Brady wanted to leave. Well, that's also the spin part of this game, too. Hey, we wanted him. Tom didn't want to stay. Don't blame us. Well, I don't know what the offer was that you had for him. That's what I'm curious about. I talked to Trevor Bauer, the Cincinnati Reds, who's doing a really cool thing, trying to raise $1 million. He wants to make sure that the people who work at the stadiums, the ballparks, get paid and having pick up wiffle ball games. So we'll talk to him coming up. It's approaching 22 after the hour on this St. Paddy's Day. Back after this. All right, we got the bagpipers here with us.
You guys might
Give the
have
official introduction. The New Haven County Firefighter Emerald Society pipes and drums are here. And we do this each year. McLovin somehow finds a way to upset them. McLovin, assume the position on the floor.
Where am I supposed to go?
I think just lie down right there.
On the foul line?
Yeah,
And this is an old tradition.
This is an old Irish tradition.
Oh, no.
And you're going to be there as the bagpipers parade around you. Maybe, come over here a little bit, McLovin. If you're watching on Audience Channel 239 DirecTV and the NBC Sports Network. So what we're going to do, Oh Danny Boy and
We have
little
one.
Amazing
We're
Grace.
gonna do Mr. Boy first, then we'll do.
Okay, all right. I'll leave it up to you guys. You feel free to parade around McLovin and the
Going this
old
way.
Irish tradition of low-hanging fruit.
Good luck, McLovin.
We're ready?
Pipes and drums, Mr. Boy, by the center. Quick, mark.
Make it stop. Make it stop.
Oh, how was that, McLovin?
Oh my gosh, I am so older, I would be ruined for life right there.
No giving up the secret, McLovin.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
No stereotypes about the Irish?
It's cold out today.
No comment.
Hey, it is
Very, very chilly today.
It's very cold out today.
I don't know if I want to watch this one.
Okay, but tonight we bring back the semifinals of the AUAA.
Do you want to reenact it?
And you know what that means? Mario, the worst night of his life.
This is a big faller brand
Would
against the
you
Crush.
Would you recreate? And look, it's only on live TV, so don't worry.
I'll play for
No, Seaton's got to pass you the ball because
You want to be twos?
Seaton made the mistake. Oh, I want to see if he can actually make it. I'm giving you a redo, and this is it.
I check the ball up, dish
Clock
it out.
No defense.
At least you drew.
That would have been
You drew iron.
preferred. If that had happened, we would have won the game.
But this is how it actually played out. Go in the corner,
Catch.
Mario. Yeah, you make the shot, Paulie. Mario doesn't. So Mario travels.
Travel. Yeah.
No!
Hey! We did it!
See, he was trying to miss it, and he made it.
Oh, Mario. I love you,
By
man.
the way, the corned beef is here.
His name's Lou.
Lou has brought the corned beef.
The corned beef is here.
Yes. Hub and spoke, courtesy. Yeah.
Hub and
Trevor's in Arizona. Please skim this real quick. I highlighted what it
Get
is.
in!
In addition to
Dan Patrick Show brought to you by Mercedes-AMG. Be prepared for whatever comes your way. It's the all-new GT 4-door coupe. Because life is a race, visit your local dealership for a test drive today. If you missed any of our celebrity interviews this week from the Mercedes-AMG Man Cave, go to the Dan Patrick Show app. Watch and listen from inside the Mercedes-AMG Man Cave. Mercedes-AMG, driving performance. More phone calls coming up. McLovin, will you update the poll results on who's going to have more pressure going into next season?
It's up to 60% say Bill Belichick will have more pressure than Tom Brady.
Yeah, I agree with that. I saw this story. I thought it was really a nice gesture by Trevor Bauer, the Reds pitcher. He has set up a GoFundMe page, and he set it up on Saturday in an effort to support Cincinnati Reds stadium workers displaced by the postponed season. And his goal was to raise $1 million. Trevor joins us from Arizona. Trevor, thanks for joining us. When did this idea come to you?
It came about on Thursday, actually. David Carpenter, one of my good buddies, tweeted out asking if we could get a Sandlot game together to have a little bit of baseball while the season's been shut down. So talked to all my guys over here at Momentum. We decided that we could make that happen. So we spent the next 36 hours running around like crazy and put on a wiffle ball event. And it was kind of eerie playing in front of no fans. I've never done that before, and that's kind of what we're trying to support here is, the people that go unnoticed that make the game possible, the people that work the concession stands and the ushers and all that different stuff.
How concerned are you about the coronavirus?
I don't know. I don't know if I should be concerned or not. I don't know. I think that's what the biggest issue is no one really knows what's going on. I haven't been affected by it personally yet, so it's hard for me to say. I know obviously a lot of people have, and it's very serious times. So I'm trying to take as much precaution as possible. I don't know.
Are you able to are you guys working out in Arizona?
No, so our facility was closed this past weekend for a deep clean and sanitization, if I'm saying that right. So I have some dumbbells that I got. I've been doing some stuff at home, and I'm going to find a place to work out moving forward. I got to stay in shape, obviously, but no one's been working out recently.
Any idea of when the projected date for the season to start is?
Yeah, May 11th, I think, is the earliest it'll start now with the 8-week postponement that they announced yesterday, the day before. I don't see it happening on that date. I got to imagine it's going to be June at least, and that's just my personal speculation. I don't have any inside info, but I just don't see any way it happens before June 1st, and that's being pretty aggressive.
Are you going to have more wiffle ball games? How do you plan on raising $1 million?
No, so now with the CDC guidelines of having less than 10 people or less meeting spaces, it's tough. It's tough to do anything like that. We're just trying to get the word out as much as possible. I realize that it's tough times for everybody, and there's a lot of people, not just the stadium workers, but there's a lot of people in baseball and outside of baseball that are struggling right now and are unsure. So I know it's a big ask to have people donate right now, but if there's anyone that can, they can find it in their budget, it would help a lot of people.
Can you give that address of if I saw where Jerry Seinfeld sent a video, or he wrote Trevor Bauer to the rescue, love this guy. So Seinfeld sent out a tweet on Friday. What's the address if people want to go and donate?
Yeah, so it's on GoFundMe. You can look it up there, or you can go to my Twitter account. It's the pinned tweet on my Twitter account, @BauerOutage on Twitter.
You've been busy, though, here in the offseason. I know that you had some things to say about the Astros and the commissioner, Rob Manfred. You got a chance to sit down with the commissioner. What did you guys discuss?
We went over the baseball industry in general. I don't want to speak too specifically on what was discussed, but I thought it was a really good conversation. I think he was candid and honest and, genuinely curious to hear what I had to say, and I was genuinely curious to see how he thought about things and what he had to say. I'm not sure any resolution was necessarily come to, but I think we understood each other at least.
Yeah, I knew you were critical of the playoff expansion proposal, certainly critical of the Astros. And then you were showing batters what pitches were coming with glove movements in spring training.
Yeah. That was completely unrelated to those two two issues. I can't go into the story because I promised the guy involved that I wouldn't. But it was a backstory with a buddy of mine and just joking around, having some fun.
Oh, so showing the batters what was coming, there's a backstory to that?
Yeah, there's a backstory to that. And I called Matt Beatty, the hitter, and let him know that it was nothing personal or wasn't trying to show him up or anything like that. It was just, spring training is fun for a lot of reasons. So I was just trying to have some fun with some friends of mine.
And does this help or hurt the Astros with this separation before the start of the season?
Man, I can't see a way that it helps anybody.
But just that there was so much vitriol built up with these guys, and they were unapologetic, didn't take any blame. Guys were getting hit during spring training, and it felt like there was going to be some momentum or movement going into the regular season where these fans were not going to let the Astros forget about it. Now we got to wait a couple of months, and I wonder what that climate's going to be like for the Astros when they start to play games.
I got to imagine it'll be the same. Fans, baseball fans are very good at having long-term memories. It's probably the sport with the most history and the most stats behind it and all that, and fans don't forget too easily. So I got to imagine it'll be somewhat the same. I just hope that we get baseball back in a short order.
You should show up at a batting cage and just start throwing, like little leaguers in there, and just do a video.
But the CDC, 10 people or less right now. Anyway, it's something I have considered. And I'd like to get more fans involved and interact with the kids and stuff like that. But with 10 people or less, it's hard to come up with any ideas like that right now.
Well, congrats on what you're trying to do for the Reds Stadium workers and the GoFundMe page with Trevor Bauer. Trevor, good luck. I don't know what you do in your downtime. What do you do all day?
So I have my media company, Momentum, and we're pumping out a bunch of content with different players that we've worked with this spring. And I have my own personal YouTube channel. It's Trevor Bauer on YouTube. Posting daily vlogs about what's going on right now in my life and what I'm doing in this time. Have a lot of content coming out. I do tips with Trev on Tuesdays to give young baseball players tips for training and whatnot. I have a fan questions segment on Fridays, and I have a new series coming out called Breaking Point, where I'm going to go through games that I've been involved in and break down what I was thinking in the moment and what I was trying to do, what actually happened, if I got lucky, unlucky, all that different stuff. So
good.
Pumping out a bunch of content for the fans.
Trevor, thank you. We appreciate your time. Good luck.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for having me on.
That's Trevor Bauer, Reds pitcher. He certainly didn't want to talk about the commissioner.
You may have been asked not to.
Yeah, that's probably the case. Trevor, if you want to talk, how about we just talk? We don't have to go through the media here. And then the Astros situation, he had some choice words about them as well. But interesting guy. Interesting guy. I saw this, and I don't know what to do with it, but I'll bring it to your attention that the idea of Urban Meyer going to back to USC is just not going away, believe it or not. Some donors got involved in this, and I don't know how recently, but they were going to pay Urban Meyer just under $10 million a year for 5 years.
Hot.
The new USC president said no, with the idea of being beholden to donors. She also didn't want to hire Urban Meyer. But this, the people behind the scenes, they're, these donors, like, this is dropping the bucket. They don't care. They want pride restored here, that they were willing to pay at least $9.5 million a year for 5 years. So just under $48 million for Urban Meyer to come back. And the president of USC said no. Yeah, Paul.
Being beholden to donors is what college football is all about. The SEC is built on being beholden to donors. Look at Florida State. They blew out their coach because the donors called and said, we'll pay for the buyout.
I know.
We need a new coach.
I know.
That's what you do.
I know. I think you're beholden to those donors whether you know it or not. The boosters. Yeah, Paul.
In all seriousness, I think USC is trying to clean up a mess away from football, the things they have when all the kids trying to get into school there.
Well, also you have an on-campus OBGYN who was accused of abusing patients.
They've got a lot of messes the past 2 years there, and I think they look at Urban Meyer's baggage as would be weird to bring on at this time. probably.
Yeah. And that's what I was told from the outset, that, Urban doesn't have a clean slate here. And even though he would be the best coach to bring in, they just didn't want to go down that road. But that'll give you an idea of the power behind this, how serious they were, if you're going to offer him almost $10 million a year to be the head coach at USC. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Last call for phone calls. The corned beef and cabbage has arrived here in the man cave. I think we should all stand in front of McLovin's monitor since he's at home in Brooklyn with his family, and then we should just eat the corned beef while McLovin watches. You're going to cry, aren't you?
I'm going to cry. I love the mustard. Is there cabbage too?
Yeah, and a lot of it. Because I know that you love it so much, and I ordered extra, but you're not going to be here.
Are you different varieties of mustard? Straight spicy?
No,
what do we got
we
there?
have 4 different varieties of mustard. Maybe even more. But,
I could be there in an hour, Dan.
It's going to be so good. You should be with your family. Enjoy your kids. All right? I think it's really, enjoy your kids. The quality time there, now that they're home from school.
It's a miracle America hasn't been enjoying my kids for 3 hours. I've been fending them off in this little studio I set up consistently.
Well, I can hear them occasionally in the background. Like, they're loud with their whispering. Like, they're supposed to whisper, but they're loud when they whisper as they walk by.
Yeah.
We gotta be quiet. Dad's on TV. All right, we'll take a break. Last call for phone calls, what what's in store tomorrow. Man, after the first 2 days, who knows? Tomorrow's it officially gets serious here with some free agents. And maybe we'll find out Brady by the end of the week where he's going to end up. Information will leak out because Brady's side, somebody will leak something out. And maybe we'll be able to follow the breadcrumbs as to where we think Tom Brady's going to end up. And then how that impacts other free agents, how that impacts the draft, and what are the Patriots doing for Plan B. We'll take a break. Back after this. This is our friend Lou.
Yeah, Lou.
He runs Hub and Spoke in Fairfield, and he's got some extra cabbage.
Wow.
I'm the cabbage king.
That's a good time.
Why don't we get to the corned beef, all right?
Oh, that's last, 'cause I know what happened.
Dan, I brought a little backup if you need
So
it.
you open that up.
Oh, you got Guinness?
The attack.
We can't have Guinness now,
Well,
can we?
unless you say we
Look at
can.
this.
That's a good time right there.
Oh, McLovin. Man.
He's
Wonderful.
trying to lose now.
Cool.
Not only that, I have homemade
Soda bread.
soda bread
Wow, look at this.
with Irish honey butter.
Oh, thank you. What'd you
Got it
call
all
me?
covered.
Oh, honey butter.
You've got it all figured out.
Where are the openers?
There you go, McLovin.
Snooze/lose.
That is perfect.
Got the forks in here.
Celebration.
You
Knife here.
guys have a serrated edge knife?
Todd, what are you diving in
I'm
on?
gonna try a little of the corned beef and carrots and potatoes.
Yeah.
Here,
I'll definitely try a piece of that too.
honey butter.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going back.
I'm waiting for Penny to come out here since there's food.
I locked her in the room.
Oh, did you?
She's a bad dog.
She was licking my shoes.
Bad dog.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. Homemade.
Fabulous.
Go ahead. Great. Wonderful.
Lou, you did a great job.
How is it?
Excellent per use for you.
Good mustard.
Oh, man.
Try that. But with the honey butter, it's
That's the one.
it's the bomb.
Do we have to go back on the air? Yeah, we
I think we do.
I'm
Yeah.
not going.
You're not?
Not going.
I have to, Lou.
You go to work. Those of you who can
I'm a
work,
professional.
you guys that can work,
We got a minute.
keep
Oh,
working.
potatoes and utensils.
Hmm.
I have an answer for what they should do. 3 months, no mortgages. Tack it on the end.
Sounds
of the
good.
mortgage.
Oh.
Banks don't lose any money.
Oh, man. Got some corned beef and cabbage here. A good buddy Lou just dropped it off. Poor McLovin. Of all the weeks you decided not to come into work, and this is a bad week for you to miss. Corned beef.
You know, I could watch you guys on YouTube during the breaks. You realize that?
Yeah. Yeah, I was purposely playing to the camera, letting you know just how good it was. And the mustard, it's good.
All right, just put some in the fridge, and I'm going to drive by tonight.
No,
if there's any left.
You know, I'll mail you some. How's that?
But I'll tell you one thing.
What?
Paulie can have all the soda bread. Do you really like soda bread? I want to get a ruling on this. That's tomorrow's poll.
No, it's not. What are the final results of the poll question?
Who has more pressure on them, Bill Belichick or Tom Brady? 61% say Bill Belichick.
You had Bill Self who said, hey, I have no problem if you want to crown us national champs. There'll be a huge asterisk by that. And he said, we would have probably been the number one seed going into the tournament, which is fine. I said, yeah, okay, fine. But the number one overall seed doesn't usually win the tournament. NCAA has a number one overall seed only since 2004. Out of 16 tournaments since then, the number one overall seed has won the title 3 times. Florida did it, 2007, Kentucky 2012, Louisville in 2013 later vacated. If looking at the AP number one teams entering the tournament, in 71 tournaments since the advent of the AP poll in 1949, the number one team overall has won the tournament about 30% of the time, 21 times there. Only 4 out of 35 tournaments since the tourney expanded in 1985, 11%. So the odds would have been in their favor more than anybody else, but as Paulie says, Kansas might have an asterisk by a few of their seasons there coming up. All right, last call for phone calls. Justin in Alaska joins us. Hi, Justin. What do you have for me today?
Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day, Dan. Dan Eds, calling from Alaska. A little bit cold up here. Just thought I'd check in on the only major sporting event going on right now. Shout out to Paulie Paps in front row there. Mush Madness, how the picks doing right now?
Did we actually have picks there?
We support all the mushers.
Yeah.
Nearing the finish line, we got Thomas Vayner up in front here. So check it out, iditarod.com, if you guys want to figure out what's going on way up here in Alaska. Picks are coming in, and the mushers are closing in on Nome. Race for second place is looking good here. So last chance, figure out who you got first, second, last place. Red Lantern, figure out who you want to finish last place.
All right. Well, thank you, Justin. That's Justin in Alaska, our Iditarod correspondent. Yes, Paulie.
That's from our Nome affiliate.
Nome.
Yeah.
This Dan Shaughnessy wrote a column today. Ooh, this isn't good timing. Tom Brady finds out that almost no one wants a 43-year-old. The big Tom Brady sweepstakes is now down to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New England Patriots, ? That's the buzz today. Seriously? ? Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the team with the worst winning percentage in NFL history. Tom Brady's going to finish his career with the Bucs? ? I doubt it, says Dan Shaughnessy. The longer this goes, the more it feels like Tom isn't going anywhere because nobody wants to pay him $30 million per year for another 2 or 3 years because he'll be 43 bloody years old, ! Let me see what else he writes in this column. There were supposed to be 8 teams interested in Brady. Where did they go? One by one, the alleged interest in Brady has been exposed as a media-driven mythology. We're still hearing about the Chargers, Raiders, the Colts, and the Dolphins, but most of the talk now is Tampa or Foxborough. Tampa, whee! ! With Brady playing in Tampa Bay, the TB12 marketing possibilities are infinite, but you won't win many games. Getting Brady to play on another team-friendly one-year deal is a much better option than going with Jarrett Stidham, Andy Dalton, or Teddy Bridgewater. And the final paragraph of Dan Shaughnessy's column today, meet the new Patriot quarterback, same as the old Patriot quarterback. Tom Brady isn't going anywhere. Take it from the guy who told you that Pablo Sandoval would be a big hit in Boston. This came out this morning. Is that right, Todd?
Yeah, early this morning.
Oh, boy. Stop the presses.
And we love Dan, but that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, I think Shaughnessy's had a couple of those down through the years. Remember when they were down 3-0 to the Yankees? That they weren't coming back. They should be embarrassed that they weren't coming back there. But yeah, Tom Brady is not coming back to New England. Question is, where is he going to end up? Derek in Colorado joins us. Hi, Derek. What do you have for me today?
Hi, Dan. 5'8", 170 or 157 and a half. I was just calling in because that guy was talking. The Bears fan. He said that he wouldn't like being a fan if Tom Brady came there. But I'm just saying that I'm a big Broncos fan, and when we had Peyton Manning, you kind of felt the same way for a minute, but you respected that quarterback because he kicked the crap out of us in the playoffs a couple years in a row, and then it was just awesome to have him for those 4 years that we had him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're not going to trade those in. You're not trading back that Super Bowl, or you discount it. I mean, and thanks for the phone call there, Derek. Paulie, what do you have this day in sports history?
It's a classic, Dan. 2005, Rafael Palmeiro, Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire, and Sammy Sosa all testified with the House Government Reform Committee. The hearing lasted 11 hours.
Do you know that I was in touch with Mark McGuire's people before that happened, before that hearing, and I said, what are you guys going to do? Like, what is your game plan? And they said, just wait. And I did. And then my mouth was wide open when they said, we're not here to talk about the past. And I went, oh, boy. No. That's the only reason why we're here. We got to talk about the past. That helps us with the future. And then I realized they botched that one. That was called third strike, bases loaded. What else, Paulie?
That's it. That was the biggie.
That's it?
And then this day in sports history going forward, St. Patrick's Day when Tom Brady left the Patriots.
Yeah. Where were you when Tom Brady decided to leave the Patriots?
Seton's one who told me. He came walking out I was in the other room. He goes, yeah, Tom Brady's done with the Patriots. And he just went back inside. He wanted to drop it and run.
A hit and run.
Yeah, just leave that bomb right there in the middle of the room.
But you're okay, though.
Yeah, I'm good.
Are you in a state of shock?
Well, talk to me in September.
Yeah. When Brady's leading the Buccaneers to the Super Bowl.
Come walking in wearing my creamsicle.
Yeah, but
Let's go, boys.
I wonder if he wants to go to the NFC. I don't know if that matters because you got an NFC team and an AFC team reportedly interested in him. The Chargers and the Buccaneers. Is it an easier path if he goes through the NFC as opposed to the AFC? And maybe that doesn't factor in at all. Todd, what'd you learn today?
Sean Salisbury thinks if the Colts love Phillip Rivers, they should be even more into Tom Brady.
McLovin, what did you learn today?
The man cave is overflowing with mustard right now.
And corned beef and cabbage. Seton O'Connor, what did you learn today?
End of an era.
Yep. Paulie, what'd you learn?
I don't know how we're going to eat all this corned beef, but
we're going to try. Yeah. Paulie brought in some Guinness. What we learned brought to you by... Oh, what did I learn, Todd?
If the Bucs don't get TB12, maybe they have to settle for TB5, Teddy Bridgewater.
It's important to know the benefits of setting up your business the right way. Good thing LegalZoom is there to help. Their network of independent attorneys can answer questions and provide legal advice. To learn more, go to LegalZoom.com today. Thanks for all the people making this possible. We'll talk to you tomorrow here on The Dan Patrick Show.